Oh shit. Oh, good night. How are you? Tonight is usually the spiritual talk. So this is when we talk about your spirituality, your healing journey, anything you'd like to know about, how you see spirituality, anything you'd like to discuss or just inquire about. And if I know, I'll share. And if I don't know, I'll usually point you in the right direction. At least I try to. Yeah. Yeah. This is usually just the Q&A, so this is questions. So if you have anything about spirituality you'd like to talk about. Hi. I'm doing good, thank you. How are you doing? Are you looking in the right places? You can find a future husband, but is it Mr. Right? I would say anyone you meet this year has the potential to be that for you. I know my voice is really quiet today. You know, I don't really do those. If you have the right business plan and the right approach, I believe you can succeed with your online business. I think you have to, when it comes to that. Oh, thank you very much. Kia ora to you too. Thank you, Maiden Aotearoa. You have a lovely week too. Hope you have a great week. Oh, here we go. So Ashley's going to come in. Oh,
hello.
Morning, Mel.
I didn't realize. You should change the layout. That way you can see more comments.
I filled in my eyebrows for you guys.
You're looking good. You're looking very saintly there.
I feel like a little bit of angry birds going on here.
Yeah, but with your hood, you're very giving me like monk vibes.
Yes. Feel the monk vibe.
Yeah.
Change it now.
So you just go to the multi-guest thingy. Sorry, I'm just giving the baby a boo. Yeah, sure. Multi-guest.
Oh, yeah.
And then press the other one. Not the grid, the other. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
Okay.
And you can still see all the comments.
Oh. Because of Mary.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Very faintly.
More like well, it's only because my hair's just doing its own thing, so this is how I cover my hair.
Looks very comfy.
Yes,
Oh,
totally. I do
sorry,
feel
can you hear the
comfortable.
baby? That's helpful.
Like Mother Mary cracked me up. Oh, Mother Mary hasn't done half the stuff I've done.
Anyway,
But yeah, Sunday Q&A.
yes.
Good morning.
So let's get those likes going, everybody.
Whoever's there. Might be a slow night
Yeah.
tonight. That's okay. I'm a little bit tired. Everybody's probably had a hell of a week.
Your birthday,
It's my birthday.
Rwanda.
Oh, happy birthday.
No more. I don't want more.
Hope you have a great birthday today.
No more. Go away. No chocolates for the baby.
Yeah,
Anyway,
happy birthday.
I was thinking, does anyone have like any
Anybody want to come in and
questions?
talk?
Oh yeah.
Like about spirituality?
Yes.
Mel, you want to come in? I'm going to pull a card for you, Rwanda, for your birthday. Why not? While we wait, we'll give everybody time. I don't usually do this on Sunday, but we can do what we want. Let's pull a card for you. Oh, come on, Mel. Oh, you got lots going on. Let's see what Spirit wants to say. Oh. Okay. You got this. Visions of life beyond death. I'm going to read that from the book because we can. Where's my book? If you're still in here, you got visions of life beyond death. Kind of like it. Ready? It's for your birthday. Say, sacred vision is awakening within you. You are becoming blessed with the ability to truly see, to see what is real rather than what appears to be. This is true insight. What was once considered consequential may soon be found to hold little consequence after all. What was once dismissed as an irritation or irrelevance may seem to have great spiritual significance. As mundane as something once appeared, it could now be worth absolute attention. Gift of genuine vision takes you into the being of the universal creator. This is the sacred terrain beyond logic, convention, and that which is limited in any way. The more open you are to receiving true vision, the more love you will feel and recognize within you and around you. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty cool. Hopefully that helps you today. Yeah, sorry, this is my Q&A tonight. Oh, Ash, you went, Ash. But if you want to come in and talk about spirituality or how you see spirituality and want to talk with me, that's all good.
Yeah.
I just need to come in on Sundays because I like to. Hi, welcome back.
Sorry.
You're welcome. I like to come in on Sundays just to talk about the general energies in which the week was and the week coming ahead. We're just feeling our way through things. We're sensing. We're using our intuitive space. We're generating light. We're generating protection for each other. Sometimes we might need to meditate. Sometimes we may need to just allow ourselves to, cry and do what we need to do when it comes to healing. But I like to sort of just step forward without the cards because even though I did pull a card there, but it was Rwanda's birthday, so we can do that. Yes. So, okay. Plans may not go the way they should this week. So, because we're still in there, sort of that energy sort of ebbing off from there's lots of things going on. They said to me, and this is something that I was just channeling before, it says, do not despair if things do not go to plan, believe there are bigger things at play in your life. So it's more about if things don't work out the way they should, or you expected them to, or the way it's been planned to work out, it's sort of like, don't worry, because sometimes things aren't working out on purpose. Sometimes communication is being misdirected on purpose. Sometimes things are being jolted out of the right space, or at least comfortable space, on purpose. Because the thing about spirituality, a spiritual awakening is a place of expansion, okay? With each step forward you take, the universe walks with you. So it's sort of like an understanding when you go through a spiritual space or a spiritual awakening, that when things expand, the things that would necessarily be normal or go a normal way will change its shape and form and how it is or how it appears in your reality. And it's more about the life review, because this is something that's been coming forward. So when you die, right, you go through a life review. And in that life review, you have everybody you ever talked to or treated in your life step forward, and you stand in their shoes, because we only know it from our perspective, right? But what we do is we feel it from their perspective. So anyone you were crap to, well, guess what? You're going to feel that. And anyone you were good to, well, guess what? You're going to feel that too. So I'm a bit afraid of that part. There was a few years there was a BITCH, but we all go through those periods. And it's sort of like how you treat someone matters, and how you treat yourself matters. But what matters the most is how you see yourself and treat yourself. So it's sort of like understanding that the life review, even though we talk about when we die, we go through this panoramic view of our lives, well, don't forget to do a life review while you're still alive and see how things feel in your life. So there's a lot of different energies going on, 3 different kind of energy themes, but the main one is about plans not going right, and them, funnily enough, working out for you in a better way, because that's what Spirit just wants to keep bringing forward. So the more that we do our work, as in the more we try to take those steps forward in healing, in awakening abilities, in expansion when it comes to our belief systems, in the way we conduct ourselves, in the way we treat ourselves, the people around us, and our world, and understand that we're going through major changes, because it's just time. It's just time. That the universe walks with us. So no matter what's happening in the world, the universe always wants us to do better and to receive what we have been designed to be here for, which is A, life, and B, this birthright to abundance. So, yeah, it's more like the business end of what's been quite a crazy time. You know what I mean? It's like the closing of that space. And for anything, we have to really shut those doors and shut those chapters and move forward into something more beneficial. So it's literally going to be the same themes happening over and over until we get it right. You know what I mean by that? Sorry, I know that everyone wants to have a reading. Usually they see me, it's about reading, but this is Q&A tonight, so we'll see how we go. But if you have any questions about spirituality, yeah, feel free to ask a question, or if you want to talk about it and you're not going to troll or just be nice to people.
Yeah.
Well, then again, here's the thing that the advice was, never be afraid to face the hard conversations, because those are conversations that need to be had. So you got a different alternative? When did you notice you were gifted? I would say all my life I was gifted. I think we all are from birth. But it's not until you become aware of self that you become aware that you have abilities. So it was just like, it's like this for me, okay? I was just a card reader because I'd gone through a spiritual awakening. And no, not afraid of the darkness. That was in 2017, end of 2017, but the biggest one was when I had a big, huge awakening in 2018. I was 37, 38. That was the first time I ever saw orbs. Well, I had seen orbs but never knew. Thank you, Rwanda. You have a great day today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Happy birthday. And but if I look back, I had a lot of experiences. I had a lot of experiences, supernatural experiences over the course of my life. But you get told, those are not real, that I was kind of going crazy. So you just don't believe that these are actual experiences, that you just made them up. Kind of get gaslit, and sometimes you gaslight yourself. But all I started to notice was that when I would pull cards and read for people, that I could hear things. I just started to hear things, and at first I didn't trust it. I thought it was just like, inner monologue. So it just developed, and now if I decide that I want to do something, or I need to do something, it's a weird thing, but it's like you can open up that box that your gift is in and literally pull out what you need. So some people are more visual, some people are more audient, with the audio, clear audience. Some are clairsentient, they feel. Some can, know, hear, taste, whatever. We all have our different gifts. But if you need a gift, once you acknowledge that you have a gift, and acknowledgement is the main part, you can actually access any gift. So I could start out intuitive right now, start reading your card, and sometimes it'll verge into psychic, because there'll be things that I'll just know or sense or just bring forward in a general nature, that you may think, how the hell did she know that? How did you know? And it's because the energy will lead me there. And my main thing with my spiritual gift is just that I trust it. I trust it enough to trust myself, to know that I have the right information and knowledge, because I know that my heart is good and my intentions are good, and I will constantly state that. Good intentions towards people, so that the messages that come forward to me are given with good intention. So it does take, yes, hi. It just takes trust. And that also acknowledges to the universe that you trust the universe. Because, whatever, whatever higher being that you feel comfortable with. So, yep, more than one gift. It's not just just seeing. Sometimes it's just walking into the room and knowing who needs help, or seeing someone's mamai, someone's pain, or just intuitively knowing if someone's not well, and being able to, sometimes I don't even know. So sometimes I'll just sit down, and because I'm a little bit weird and a bit socially awkward, so I'll just ramble, and I'll just sit next to people I don't know. It's like, hi, da 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 da, blah 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 blah. Next minute I'm talking about stuff, and they're like, how did you know that? Like, how do you? I don't even know you, but you know stuff about me. And I'm like, oh, like that was right at the beginning. In the same respect, I've also learned who not to talk to. So there's been certain people that I've given information to and or shared knowledge with, and they've absolutely freaked out about it. So you learn who's open to it and who's not by reading their energy and or just their, body language and the way they speak or say things to you. Yeah, because it's yours. Oh, Yoda is my name. Sorry, Yoda, I don't know you, or you haven't asked. Yeah, it's every gift is yours. That's the thing. And I know that sounds weird to say. It's weird to say, but every gift is yours. And it's just, because spirituality is, or what I would call spiritual energy, is flexible. It flows where it needs to go. And so to be able to access what you need is really important, and that's what the universe provides, that channel or that space to access it. Hi, Luana. I'm not doing readings tonight. This is spiritual Q&A. If you have, thanks, Mel's got it. If you have any questions you'd like to ask about spirituality or your healing journey, I'll probably go over the energy themes coming forward for this week as well. But did you ever reach out to people for readings to help you before you took that leap of spiritualism? Yeah, I harassed the shit out of my friends. This is before, I used to do parties where I would just, because I would want to, sit with a whole bunch of people. Some I knew, some I didn't, and I would read their cards for free. And sometimes they were crying parties because a lot of things that would come forward, details and things that needed to be said, it was just easier for me when I first started to really get out. But I didn't actually do paid readings until my friends were like, you need to get out there. I've got someone that will come, they want a reading and they want to pay you. Because at first I used to say, no. And then I said, what about donation? Like that. Like I wasn't really thinking about getting paid for it. But I understand that, at the level that I can read at this time, and I'm not perfect, and there's better readers sometimes out there. Just depends on what you want. I believe that it's an equal exchange for the kind of readings I will give. So, yeah. No, you're Katie Pie. That's what it's about. Ask me questions. I love it. It gives me an outlet for me as well to be able to express some things or some kind of insight that I can help you with so that you can develop, like if you feel stuck in some place or wanting to understand what this something means to you, then those are the perfect questions to ask. Because I just like to help people because we're all at a space, where we're understanding that we need to, develop or create our mediumship with our gifts so that we understand what comes in and then we know what to do, or at least we can. Here's the thing, we do know what to do, but what we don't do is trust that we know what we can do sometimes, because a lot of us will think, oh, I've only been doing it for a year, I've only been doing it for 3 years. And there's people that have been doing it for 20 years. Well, it doesn't matter if someone's been doing it for 20 years. And you feel like you've only been doing it for so long. Even if you've been doing it since you were a child. Like, it doesn't matter. Time is different with spirit. Time is not a spiritual structure. So that's a human structure. And yet people could have a lot of training in a lot of areas, but you could just literally wake up and know more than them. You know what I mean? It's not about who's right or wrong. In the end, it's sort of like you'll know what you'll know, and that's what matters. I think there's a lot of rules and restrictions in spirituality, or at least it comes across that way, but in the spirituality that I've sort of, developed, or how I see it, is that everyone is right in their own right. And if someone feels drawn and or compelled to do something, then it's right for them. I know what you mean by that. Rere, I know what you mean by that. It's I've smelt that too. It is not nice. For me, it smelled like smoke. Like inhaling a cigarette, and I'm a non-smoker. I got like that too. And what? I got like that too. Where I felt absolutely like if spirit didn't guide me there, I wouldn't do it. But the human in you also knows. It's like you have to trust the human in you too. And that's that's oneness. Everyone talks about oneness in the world, oneness, wholeness. But you have to make sure you're in oneness too, which is all your different bodies, your energy body, your spiritual body, your human body, your mental body, your emotional body. We have all these different parts of us. And what we have to do is bring them all back and understand that we know, or what I call, I know this sounds so weird, the collective of Sonia knows what to do. And I talk to myself as a collective, so that all the parts of me that I need to come forward or regather or be reclaimed come back to me. So, yeah. Yeah, and if you follow guidance, 9 times out of 10, it really works out to be quite beautiful. That's what happened with me. And sometimes, sometimes it doesn't even make sense. Even my first shamanic circle I went to, which was Om chanting for 2 hours. That was the first time I ever felt brave enough. And my friend, she was going to come, but then at the last minute, she kind of just couldn't. She didn't want to come. She couldn't chicken out. And I was standing outside the Buddhist temple by myself, here in Napier. And I was so afraid to go up. And I stood at the bottom of the stairs, and then this lovely lady came out. And because I was about to bolt. Like, I was like, I'm not going up there by myself. I can't do this by myself. I can't do it. This lovely lady came out. She'd just gone to the bathroom. And right when she came out, she looked down. She goes, oh, are you here for the chant? For the circle, the Om chanting? And I says, yes. And she goes, come on, I'll take you in. And then I walked in with, she introduced me, and they were so lovely and warm. And that was the beginning of my shamanic journey. And it was a really beautiful space, you know, and it had a mix. It wasn't just, you know, like, you know, Pakeha or white people. It was Māori. There were Māoris in there as well, which was nice, because I was always, you know, spot the Māori. When you go to some of these meditation, and I'm not to be disrespectful to anyone, but when you go to meditation groups, you don't usually see a big Māori lady in the middle, you know, by herself, because I'm urban, so I don't have that connection to my marae, even though I've tried, you know. Kia ora. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, so, you know, it's sort of like, kia ora. It was hard to take that first step, but when I did, I realized why. Because when I joined the circles, the shamanic journeying really helped with my vision, my visual work, what I call myself as a visionary. So as I started to really expand and do the circle work and do shamanic journeys and sound baths and meditation, light work, light language, and doing all of that kind of, you know, group work, it was really awesome, because my mentor was actually a lovely man, and his wife, it was his wife that brought me in. And yeah, I was lucky to have met a group of people that were very giving. What's the best thing about being a visionary? Okay, the coolest thing about being a visionary is that you get to experience things you wouldn't experience in your human life. That is coming down to having conversations with dragons, or at least energies that appear to be dragons. I've had, when I did a vision quest, I had met my spiritual guide, my main one, who represented himself as a dragon, and we played chess, and he showed me things, and I experienced a lot. But it's all symbolic, so you have to understand that what they do, this is what energy does, or universal connection, is that it brings things forward to you as a symbol. Okay, so if you can learn to translate what that symbol means, you can understand what the visions mean as well. So color matters, numbers matter, people matter. Like if you see faces, what they all matter. And sometimes, you know, like I would say the scariest part is seeing non-human spiritual beings. Those are kind of scary, because if you're not used to seeing that, that can be scary, very, very scary. But as I've learnt that I cannot be dominated energetically by anything or anyone unless I allow it, I have this confidence. So it's sort of like standing face to face with your fear. And the most beautiful thing I've seen is probably Source itself. Connecting to the pure light of Source and hearing them call my name, even just thinking about, sorry, makes me get emotional, because I've never felt so loved. You know, the euphoria and rapture of the visions can be pretty intense. You know, seeing my grandmother, see my grandfather, so my grandparents were very big spaces in my life. So actually, you know, visually seeing them around me is a beautiful experience. Have you had any rough or intense energies? Yes, Yes, I actually have. I was attacked when I was 17 years old by I believed it to be a ghost, but it was an energy. Um, and after I was attacked from there, I suffered from night terrors. So I suffered from night terrors from the age of 17 till I'm 43. But they're less now. So I don't know if anyone knows what night terrors are or sleep paralysis. After that night, because I got so scared, it created like this fear to sleep. I've also been confronted by energies, which are freaky, and I can see what I call them feeder spirits. So I don't know how to explain that, but if people have a lot of intuitive or what I call kinetic or psychic energy that's being unused, they seem to be popping in a lot more these days. So I call them feeder spirits because they're kind of like negative energies that just feed off your energy. And just like us, human beings, we have to eat plants and animals. So too do spiritual beings, even the light ones. They use energy. So when you start seeing that stuff, it gets kind of freaky, but it's sort of like learning not to be afraid. And that's by not being scared of, that's why spirit will always say, time to fight, do your shadow work, do that inner darkness, the inner, shadow within you, your own demons. Because when you see real ones, or not so much demons, but negative entities coming in, or following people, or stuck to people, or in rooms, or in houses, if your first reaction is fear, they're going to literally come towards you because they can consume your energy. How do I describe that? Did anyone watch Dirk Gently, Holistic Detective Agency on Netflix? The dude's like, if anyone ever watched that, I don't know if anyone's seen that. She ended up joining this rock band because she had a lot of energy, right? Was it a rock band? Or they were like a gang or something, but they fed off her energy. So whenever she got overloaded, they would consume her energy. But they were good. They were actually good. So you have to understand not everything it looks negative, but may not be. It's the ones that don't have good intentions. Oh, sorry. Oh, bless you. Oh, someone. Ash? Okay, Ash, come in.
Oh, someone asked a question.
Yeah, sorry. I suppose.
No, you're right. They asked, what's the most favorite part you've learned on your journey?
To love myself. And I know that sounds dumb, but it's
Not
actually,
them.
that's where it starts. Yeah, to love myself, because I didn't love myself, and I was like 40. I remember turning 40 and feeling absolutely miserable because I was thinking, well, what kind of life am I going to live? What kind of future have I got? So I think, like now, 43, I actually love my life and things are actually looking brighter. So, sort of like learning to live, learning to love fully and not just sort of like halfway, I would say that's probably the best part because it's sort of like tapping into that love space within you. You activate your heart chakra and then you actually connect more to source energy. So whenever you need that top up, you're not taking it from anyone else. You're actually getting it direct from the universe, and it's a real beautiful love. So it is actually quite a good space to be. Oh, bless you too. Were they trying to guide you away? Oh, sorry. Might be a spiritual animal. Yes. When I meditate, yes, it is easy to visit places, as you know. I always go to some beautiful spaces with when I sit with Mel. And do you have random visions at random times? Yes. It's sort of like downloads. If anyone understands what the download is, it's sort of like And then you don't have to be in meditation or anything to get it. You could literally be hanging out the washing, driving. Oh, thank you, Natasha. Anything like that, and you could literally get, boom, a download. Sometimes it's through dreams as well. Or sometimes it's just intuitive knowing. Like sometimes you'll just sit next to someone and you just intuitively know that they need something, or get a vision about them, and then they come, they come towards you. Yeah, but I would say most visions are random, usually not planned at all. Evening, Natasha. Probably. Hope Lily Stargazer. Here's the thing, if you have a lot of light, you're going to attract a lot of negative energies, because if you're unaware on how to protect your energy and or create boundaries, because boundaries aren't just for people. Boundaries also pertain to energies that may try to access your energy. Like, I just call them feeder spirits. There's probably some perfect name for them, but I don't know it because I don't really research. I only see them when I visually access someone's energy. So if I see something around them, that's what I do. But all you have to do, if there are negative energies around you, you send them away. If you're not here for my highest good, I want you to leave. And then you create that light and push them out with your energy. Set every intention of anything that doesn't help me can now leave my energy, and just keep that intention. As an energy sensitive, I have to do that a lot, where, I could go places and people's stuff, I'll just absorb it, because that's just, it's not that I just absorb it, it's just that 9 times out of 10, I'll intentionally absorb it so that these people can feel better and or feel relief. It just depends on who it is and what it is. Some healing has to be done within their own effort, so some people have to actually choose to do their own healing. But yeah. Well, sometimes we have to understand that that is also a mindset. Okay. So you have to be mindful that that's where they go in the subconscious. And it's in that subconscious where don't know what's clicking on back there, that it's almost like a vacuum of energy that's just sort of like right there, and there's, have a feed. They just feed off you. Oh, okay. Yeah. Create that protection of light around you and set the intention of sending anything that doesn't belong to you away. Oh, trust me, at the time I was pretty freaked out about some things. Feeder spirits don't bother me, but it's the bigger ones, or the ones that are more solid. So anything a bit more solid, I find they're kind of, I call them biters. I don't know how to describe that. So things that actually have full shape and form, yeah, and or show me that they can move things. I call them biters because they usually
Like when
try
you
to
got
take
that thing
it.
in your eye.
Yeah, because it went straight for me too, and then it ran. But that was kind of out of the blue, because I didn't think I was going into that. But I just sort of like dove straight into that, so that was my bad. Kia ora. Yeah. Oh, Natasha. Few visions, especially about our future. Some not good, that have come to pass. So if you get visions like that, if you get negative visions, we have to understand that some of it could be apprehensive about, you may be apprehensive about things, but things will turn out the way that they do, with or without your control. So it's sort of like understanding that some visions that I have, some of them are beautiful, but I let them go. I don't attach to them, because they're not a reality yet. So if you hold on to an ideal, the thing I found out about spirituality is, if you hold on to an ideal, you limit yourself. Okay. So if you have negative visions that where everything goes, you have to understand that your mind will be trying to fight you from changing, and B, your mind only works a certain pattern. So if you haven't changed or broken out of set patterns, the visions that may come forward will be working within the pattern that you already have. So spiritual awakening is about expanding and breaking those patterns. Okay. So if you get a vision that doesn't turn out to be, because that's not spiritual, that's not what I would say, a vision from your loved ones and or a connection to source or the universe, because the universe and your loved ones would usually bring in messages of love. Okay. Sometimes warnings. Okay. You can get a warning, but they would usually bring it forward. You always know when it's a warning, because this is something that I noticed whenever I would see loved ones in my dreams, as I always say, oh, you're not supposed to be here. You're not supposed to be here. Because you know that you're not quite in a dream and you're not quite awake. So there's always that space. You're not supposed to be here. So whenever I have that, I know that I'm getting visited, and if it's good or bad, to heed it but not hold it. Okay, not hold it as an actual outcome. So you just set the intention of what will happen will happen. What will happen will be for my highest good, and sort of just move in that way. Kia ora. Yeah, but it's yes. That's why I can be very there. I'm very there, and sometimes I will detach. It's just been how it is. I like when people who are sharing the gift with me, or not latch. I wouldn't say all of them latch. It's more like a general connection, and so they love that connection, or they enjoy that connection. So sometimes people like it. Depends on the experience. Some people like it, some people don't. Most will do like it, especially if it's made them feel better about themselves. But I'm pretty free with my energy. As long as it's someone with genuine intention to learn and or be uplifted. It's different if someone's got a lot of drama and a lot of negativity and they just want to share because it makes them feel better. But I realize that, like, we have to understand that some people are, they need attention, but it's not attention they're seeking, it's connection. They want to feel connected and to belong to something and to be able to share with something. It's like that. So I sort of stopped feelings. It just depends. If someone feels good to me, I'll continue. If it feels a little bit too much, or if I'm overwhelmed with my own stuff, I'll step back. When I get visited in my dreams, it's usually to tell me that another family member is being called. Yeah, called home. Yeah, yeah. That's like Adede was saying earlier. She could smell death on her family, and I know that it's the same kind of gift, just expressed differently. For me, whenever I have a baby, or so in my dreams, or someone has a baby or anything like that, for someone reason it means the opposite in my real life. Um, I remember when I was like 14 years old, having a dream that I gave birth. Like, I felt, and I'd never hadn't even had sex at that point. I don't think. Sorry. And and I had a dream that I gave birth, and 2 days later my grandfather died. And it was just like, oh my gosh, it's like things like that. Um, and it's happened more than once. So I don't really, it's sort of like symbolism for me. Some people actually see people go, but I actually see new birth. It's weird how I see it. So yes, I had that today when my mum was in my dream, and I said, I want to go home. I miss you. Don't say that. Don't say that to her, Natasha. Yes, of course, there was always somebody else, probably better at things than me. Um, it just depends on how they use their energy. But I don't think anyone can dominate me energetically. They may try to psychologically dominate me, but energetically, unless I allow them, they can't. I used to think, because for me, because I always like to feel like I'm like the student, And so I often looked at people that sort of knew how to talk the talk, look up to them. But I found not necessarily is that a good thing. And so I found that I had more power in myself and believing in that. So, yeah, good evening, Astrid. How are you? Yeah. I don't think I'm the only one that, you know, that holds any kind of power or energy. So, um, some people know a lot more than me, and that's okay. My thing is I know what I know, and for me that's important, and I can't control what anyone else knows. Yeah, sorry guys, I know it's a slower vibe on Sundays, and so we just take our time with it. Yeah, hi everybody. Sometimes we want to go, yeah. Sometimes we want to go with them. I get that, but never say that. I would say you can say I miss you. Nothing wrong with that. What is it? I'm an energy intuitive, so I read cards and so much more. So sometimes I can visually see things. I just do a lot of spiritual work with myself, do a lot of healing work with myself and others. But yeah, usually I speak from a space of the soul, as I feel like I'm soul orientated and heart based. And so I just give you what I'm sensing in your energy, with good intentions and with love. But yeah, you fellas, oh, you guys all see each other. It's been a while since we've actually all hung out and chatted for a time. Is there anything I could share, you could share with me that I don't know? Intuitively? Usually I ground down into the energy. Let's see what comes forward. Sorry. Okay. Weird enough, I don't know if you don't know this. I think you do know this, but it's something that I'm seeing for you. It's like I see a big smile, a really big smile. And I see someone giving, like those little, when you blow them and they go off into different things. I feel like when you were a child, that you actually were given or had a relationship with someone that made you feel safe. We all know that. There's always that one person. And for some odd reason, this person is giving you that. It's almost like make a wish, make wishes. I actually just want to remind you that it's time to remember those wishes. It's time to remember all the stuff that you wish that you could have when you were younger and bring those now forward, because it's almost like I want you to blow. What do they call them? Like daisies? Not daisies.
Dandelions.
Dandelion seed pods, eh? And you blow them. And they're just asking for you to remember that time. I think there's like a time or a memory that you felt so safe in this person's care, because the smile is so big. And I remember that. Like it feels like happiness and joy, and just blowing the dandelion seeds. I don't know if that makes sense to you. But I had to shift through a lot of other things too. So there's a lot of other pressing matters in your life that are there and go back before to a place where I wouldn't know about that may not be on TikTok or anything. It's almost like saying, you remember that little girl? Do you remember how she used to see things? It's like, what happened to that little girl? You know, it's like they're trying to remind you of that space, of remembering how free things felt and how happy you were at that time. But I would say in this time, life hasn't always been so smooth. It's easier being a kid because then you can just relax about things. But as you become an adult, say sometimes life serves that cold platter, ice cold platter. Okay. You'll have to say it again. Your energy is really, really low too. You might have been going through something recently that strained a lot of your energy. I see it. It's weird because in the way that I see you, you're kind of smiling. I feel like your hair's up too. I think you had a really big smile. I don't know because I want to say I see braces, but I don't know if that's actually true for you. It's just the smile is emphasized, and it's sort of like playing, and then someone's like, "Here, make a wish," right? But now I see detail, which is like these little hearts on it on your top. They just keep taking me back to that space. I think there's a place where you need to focus more, is remembering that little girl. Because whatever's been affecting you recently takes you back to that time. But I know whatever happened back in that time may not have also not been good. But you have to remember the time when it was. And remember and reconnect to that space for you. Because they want you to heal something, dear. Yeah. We're talking a lot about anxiety. Like, like that. When you're crying a lot and it feels so tough that it's hard to breathe sometimes? I think you forgot. I think you forgot that there were times where you could feel safe. And they want you to remember there were times that you could feel safe, not just negative times. And remember those times because those are the ones, like I had one specific moment when I was a kid. I was like 4 or 5, and my nan had gone to a church thing, and it was just me and my papa home. And I always loved spending time with my papa, but he would get up in the morning, and he would pray early hours of the morning. And I remember I was on the couch, I had a couch, and I heard him praying, and I got up and I prayed with him. And I remember it vividly because it was like the most safe. I feel really emotional talking about it because of who it is. The most safe I felt during my childhood. Okay. So every time I needed to reflect back on my past, I was able to find that one peaceful moment when me and my papa were looking out the window, and the wind's blowing and the lights just coming in, and he's saying prayers and he's making jokes and laughing, and we're talking. And in that moment, I remember how loved and safe I felt when I was a child. So whenever I reflected back on the past in my mind, sometimes it would take me to negative places, but in that moment, anytime I retreated into negative spaces, I brought myself back as a child to that moment. So whatever's going on now, whatever's coming up that's causing you a lot of anxiety, that's the place you should go, that place that you felt safe. Because they keep wanting you to remember that time. And I probably lost you, but sorry, that took a while because I wasn't really in the space. Sorry. I don't know if I think you knew it. I don't do that. I don't know. Because sometimes I think, when someone asks me, like, tell me something, they tell you what you need to know. But if that's what it means for you, because I feel really emotional right now, like, bringing up that memory because it just felt, like you just feel love there, and it's sort of like if you can remember those times and feel that love, because that love is real. It still exists. That's the thing. Sometimes we can often miss people, but they're still there. Their love still remains. Their energy still exists, just in a different form. So I send lots of love to you. Hopefully that helped you understand what I do. I had to get in the zone because I wasn't really looking into that. But thank you.
Well, talking about being in the zone, someone did ask, do you switch off when you go to bed?
Yes, I have to. I ground. Oh, I wouldn't go to bed with everybody's junk in my head. I would be.
You just wanted to
You're very welcome. I'm sorry. I know you probably didn't expect that at all.
Well, she said that she has been missing her parents a lot lately.
Yeah. Oh. And it was weird because I felt that emotion too. I wanted to cry. Yeah.
Oh.
That's why I go back to the childhood. Yeah, send you lots of love. That's right. Sorry. But yes, they wanted to come forward, or someone was coming forward. Whoever was handing me the dandelion, well, what it felt like was me. But they just see you. Oh, they just see you, and they see your smile, and you're playing all these little hearts on your top, like it's a little black long sleeve top with like little hearts all over it, and you're just dancing and singing, and the way they felt about you, it's important. So yeah, if you needed that, their love is still with you.
Drink some water.
Yeah, drink some water. Sorry, I get a bit emotional sometimes because
Chevy.
I didn't have my.
I'm guessing that's how you say your name. Chevy. So I'm going to call you because I don't know how to say your name. You should also drink some water, my dear.
I love your friend.
Hi, Lockie of Ridge.
Lucky old French. Lucky old French. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Sonia has a very unique way of reading things. We've learned this.
Yeah, but it sounded like like someone from Scotland.
Yeah. Well, it could be. It could be, but I obviously always think of food. So.
Hi.
I have a feeling that's Violet Epps.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay.
That's one of her kids.
Yeah. Oh, nice. I feel you. I feel you. But yeah, I do live free readings on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Chevy, if you ever want to come in. So I just do tarot on Tuesdays and oracle on Thursdays, but it's a mix of intuition as well.
What time is it? We're in New Zealand.
We're in New Zealand and it's 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm gonna work harder.
See, I told you. Yes, very saintly
It's
today.
my
Saint
hair. My
Sonia.
hair was my hair was looking a bit wet. See, look, it does its
It
own
looks.
thing. I can't
It
control
actually looks nice on here.
it. It could be the filter. I do have a light filter on, but
Oh, I have.
it's not that. It's just because it's like growing not long on one side and then shorter on the other.
It's because it's like a bob growing out, even though it
It's
was a
annoying.
ball head growing out. But
But that's why I was going like this to hide
it looks. But it actually
my
looks
flat
nice.
at the
But
back.
it it looks very like that's what you remind me of. Yeah.
All right, I've got a dark side.
Oh, you're in
Oh,
America. Oh,
yeah.
you're up early or late, depending if you haven't got to sleep.
Yeah, it's Sunday night
Yes,
in America. No,
yes,
Sunday morning.
Chevy. Come and join us. Come and join on
Yeah,
Tuesdays and
Tuesday, 7 o'clock ish.
ish. Yeah,
And Thursday
and
at
I'll be
7
on
o'clock ish.
to it on Tuesday
No,
because
you're
I
all
won't
right.
have
You were
them.
working hard on your baby and the
Do
baby.
you know what spirit means when it keeps telling you to open the door?
Yes. Doors are very significant to me when it comes to spirituality. Um, so I had a lot. So when you want to open doors in spirit, or when spirit's asking you to open a door, it's asking for permission for you to expand. So I went through all these. I talk about it a lot, but I'll repeat it again. It's okay. Where I went into a visual space where I saw all these older versions of me. So this was a random vision that I got. And I wasn't actually meditating. I was just sort of like being or just being still. And I saw all these older versions of me and all these doors. And I had to open each door, right? And each door I opened, the light would go into that room and I would see an older version of myself. So the first one I saw when I was like 5 and I'm on my bed and I'm crying because my childhood was pretty shite. And then I saw myself at 17 where things went really, really bad for me. It was a good year, but a lot of bad experiences. And then when I was 38, when my relationship had fallen apart, and when I had become very reclusive and I was depressed, and I never left the house for about a year, not lying. I would send the kids to get our groceries, food. It was like that. I would stay home and just hibernate. And so I had to go into the house, open the door to the house that I used to live in, and set myself free and watch myself actually literally leave this house that had become a prison in my mind. So it's about answering the call. So if Spirit's asking you to open doors, they want you to heal things and or set something free, release things as well. Um, that could be a lot of journey work, like journeying, visual journeying, visual healing, healing journeys. It's different for everybody. Yeah. Or just for the older versions of me, because it was actually quite an emotional time. Like, I talk quite calmly about it, but at the time I was crying because I had to also relive the moments in which these versions of me were, why they were sad, and know that at those points that someone came and saved me, because there were, at those points in my life, there was no one coming to save me, from my stuff. And so when I we opened each door, it was freeing or freedom for those versions of myself, and they were transmuted. As the light shone into that room, they were saved, and it was just like I saved us. I saved us. Each version of me, I saved us, and it was quite an emotional time for me. Yep. That's where it starts. Heal yourself first, because when you're at a more healed state, things get easier, and then you can share your healing journey with others. That was the whole purpose. Sort of like I started out True Soul Intuition doing cards, reading cards back in 2019. But the more I started to follow that spiritual path, the more I started to evolve. So it's sort of like then I started doing like on Facebook. Oh my God. It's hard looking back at those times because I'm like, gosh, I was rough and raw. I'm still raw as hell. That's grassroots, right? And I would do morning chats about spirituality. So, I mean, humble beginnings where it comes for that. So all of those old chats and all that are still on my Facebook. And every now and then I tap in and have a look at one, and they're quite interesting. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Lucky your fridge. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, storytelling. That's a good way of explaining it. Storytelling. Even reading cards is about storytelling. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of like sharing, describing. I try to find words to describe things, and the only way I can really reflect back is through my own experiences. So a lot of my sharing is in the efforts to help someone see it their way, so they can go through that and heal stuff for themselves. Yeah, someone opened it. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. We all help each other. That's how it goes. And the cool thing is, when you get into that space of feeling bright and light, and the ability to help others becomes easier too. So that's all we're doing. We're all helping each other. Others are visiting in my dreams. Funny that I've actually had a lot of dreams like that too. Sometimes it's for different things. So sometimes there's this visiting. They visit. Like I remember seeing my nan in the early years when she first passed, and she I was in a dream, so it's a dream within a dream. It's the only way I can describe it. And I was in a dream having a tea party, like Alice in Wonderland. You got the Mad Hatter. There was a whole bunch of us in a garden drinking tea at this table. It was literally tea; it wasn't alcohol. Um, Having a tea party in this beautiful garden, and then I heard this ding, like an elevator. You know how an elevator hits the ground or gets to the floor and it dings when the doors open? And I turned around and there was the staircase, not a big one, but the staircase leading to this tower. And in this tower was this elevator chute or lift. And the doors opened. And when I saw the door open, I saw my grandmother standing there. And the first thing I did was squeeze her butt, because I ran up to her and I squeezed her butt really hard. And I wouldn't have done that to her in real life, but I did that so that I could make sure she was real, because the first thing I said was, Nan, you're not supposed to be here. But I squeezed her butt really hard and she felt like marshmallows, because I wanted to make sure she was real. But she looked good. She looked good in my dreams. So sometimes they come in for visits. But we were in a space recently, or where the energy was quite, I would say energy usually goes like this, right? Ebbs and flows, highs and lows with energy. But lately it was like blah, blah, blah. So it's sort of like recognizing now. Everyone talks about the veil, this veil between us or here and there. But actually, you'll find as you get more involved in your spiritual awareness, there is no veil. And so you can actually um, start recognizing that they can come forward more. And that's because you're more open to it. So as you start really going into your spiritual space or becoming more open minded and open hearted, all the ones that wanted to visit you will come in. You may just be someone who actually is an astral dreamer, so your abilities may not necessarily come forward when you're conscious, but when you're asleep, you go you go traveling, you go visit them. You may not realize, you may feel like they come in, but you may actually be going to see them. And because the veil actually doesn't exist, there is no veil. Um, it's just a way of sort of creating division between the dimensions, but each dimension literally exists right next to it. Like right there could be another whole reality going on over there. We wouldn't realize. It's just we can't see that yet. Right, right. Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you feel clearer than before. That's the whole purpose of why I started doing the Sunday Q&As, because I just wanted to connect with people, with everybody, without having to just read them. Because it gets quite demanding, especially when I'm doing the lives. I do those for free, and then I do my personal readings, and then just it's sort of like I can't, like it's sort of like I'm not a machine. So I wanted to present as the human Sonia, and just see if people wanted to talk to me about spirituality, but about anything. I'm also a mum. I'm also a woman. Let's talk about whatever. But if you want to know more about your spiritual healing or your journey, this is a good time to talk about it. Oh, others are starting to come and visit you. Hi, Matt. I know. Welcome. Good to see you. Good to see you, Matt. Yeah, this is a Sunday Q&A. I'm not doing readings tonight. Well, were we going to? I've done a couple, just randomly, but that's okay. Yeah, sometimes it's you going to see them. Or sometimes a lot of things you can actually heal in different dimensions while you sleep. So I don't know if people understand that part, but sometimes you can actually go to other dimensions and heal potentialities there between you and another, or issues, or whatever it is, and make peace there. So you may not have got that closure in real life, but in your dream or astral space, you can. And it's almost like a meeting place where you can meet in a neutral place with people. Though sometimes your mind, you have to understand that your mind or your subconscious will create a space, like it fills in the blanks, right? So it'll create a space that seems familiar to you, so you, the human, don't freak out when you're going somewhere else. Um, and if you remember that, that's good, because that means that you're supposed to remember those interactions and times. And if you don't remember that, that's okay, because it's sort of like you've done the work, so you don't need to retain that memory. Thank you, Natasha. You're always so kind. You get tired. Oh, working hard. Oh, Sunday night working. Oh,
Talk about dreams. Have you had dreams where you know the person, but it looks nothing like the person you know? Like, let's say I dream of Bruce, right? I've had this. I dream of Bruce. I know it's Bruce, but it looks nothing like Bruce at all.
I'll say, yep. Because sometimes in other dimensions, the
Yeah,
husband Bruce is someone else. That's all.
yeah, like,
It's all. I mean, and also it's sort of like I've seen someone's playing with the fireplace. Um, I've had dreams where I've seen people in my dreams, and I know it's them, but I can't see what they look like properly. But for some odd reason, in my mind or in my dream, I know it's them.
yeah,
I'm like, oh yeah, it was da 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 da, but I don't remember seeing their face. But everything about them told
it's
me
them.
that this is who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had
Sometimes
that
it's
happen to me.
yeah. So somewhere in an alternative reality, you
Mm.
probably have another husband called Bruce.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
Should have
I
been.
know it's this person. Like, I know it's them, but like they either look completely different or they don't even have a face. But I know who it is.
Yes, and don't have a face. I usually get
Yeah.
don't have a face.
But
Yeah,
yeah,
but I've had
there's
that
been a
too.
few times where
Had
it's
that
been a
too.
completely different person. Like, completely different. But I know it's
That would be freaky though, eh? But yeah, I know what you mean. Sometimes I've had dreams, and yeah, it's like some other person, or it's someone you know, but it's not someone you know. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? You're interacting like them, like, yeah, I know you, and we're talking, and you feel familiar, but yet
yeah,
everything about you is nothing that I
not
remember or know.
familiar.
Yeah, so yeah, I can't explain those ones,
I'm like that in
but I
real
also
life with people. I'm like, do I know you? That's because I've done customer service so many years. So I'm like, do I actually know you?
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
have I
Have I
just served you before?
served you? Yeah. Well, people will go, hi, Ashley. You say,
No, but
hi.
that's it. They do. They do that even if I don't actually know
Know
them.
them. That's not a bad thing.
I
It's
always
not a
get a,
bad
I
thing.
know you. That's what I get. When I was young, we'd go out. I know you. Like, you look so familiar. I was like, have you ever shopped at the warehouse? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's where you know me from.
I think I think that's what I need to do. I need to find closure for something and just let it go. Yeah. You can only do what you can do, and as you become more aware that these are meeting spaces for you to heal, then you can use that time and or energy and focus it that way if possible. But sometimes we don't feel like we have the ability to control our dreams, and so the dream sort of plays out the way it does. And like I had tried a horrible dream recently, and I realized that I had absorbed somebody's fear. So I had dreamed their fear, and then the next day they said to me, "Oh, hey, I was having anxiety about going here because I was worried about traffic and driving in the trucks." And I was like, "Okay, that made sense. Why I had a negative dream about them getting run over." Do you know what I mean? Because that person it was Mum when she was going
Oh,
to Wairau,
oh, yeah,
that
yeah,
she was
yeah,
telling me that she was worried about the traffic
yeah.
and that she was worried about having a car accident because I had
We
just
so
dreamed
relate.
that she had got run over.
Yeah,
So I had
we're
actually
so
dreamt her fear,
related.
and that happens a lot. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, well, it's my mum is a great manifester, and so too, I always absorb her dreams, which I have to learn, are they mine or not mine, being as sensitive as I am. Because I was in a totally different other dream. Next minute, there was my mum in my dream, and she was getting run over by a truck. Yep.
Mm.
Yeah, they pull. It's more like they pull me into their dream.
Oh,
Yeah, because you're trying to play out normal life or as normal as you can get it, but in reality, nothing about it's normal. Because I mean, um, sometimes you don't even have a body. You're just literally seeing it from,
yeah,
your point of view. You're not actually
yeah,
like physically there. It's just you seeing other people.
yeah.
That's usually how it goes for me. So dreams are interesting places, and I don't actually like to astral travel because anytime I've levitated out of my body, I've had people waiting to take off with me. So it's not a comfortable space. And I actually for many years hated sleeping because I suffered from night terrors and or sleep paralysis. So it's sort of now I kind of realize why. It's sort of like understanding that if anyone had high anxiety or stress around me, I was actually dreaming their dreams or their fears and anxieties. So I've learned to just sort of switch it all off. It's only my family that can come in because I don't turn off to my family. I am the same. Yeah. You can't, like I said, my mum's a great manifester, and so her projection power is beyond um, comprehension.
Well,
But I
especially
enjoyed
if
my
your
time with her
daughter's
today.
super sensitive,
Yeah,
you
but it
know.
makes sense.
It's
It makes sense. There's a counterbalance, right? Is that my
that's what,
mum's a doer and a non-feeler, and I'm not a doer. I know I do.
you
Actually, I
are
am
a
a doer,
doer.
but I just do it my way, and
Yes.
I'm super sensitive. So that's my
But she's like
counterbalance, right?
a hard and fast, direct doer. Like, gotta do it now, right now.
Yeah, and I'll
In
do
the
it in
most
my own good
logical
time.
way possible. That's your mum.
Not
Everything's very
really. I wouldn't say
logical.
logic has I wouldn't say logic has
Oh,
anything to do with some of her stuff. We
no,
have
a
three
lot of it.
lines. We now have three lines going on at our house. We have the outside line, we have the line underneath the patio, and now she's created a line to go across the yard. Oh, don't say that too
That's
loud.
her. That's her OCD starting to kick in. That's
And
what
now
that
we
is.
have another line for these
Oh,
towels that we're going to be hanging out
Well, just in case,
sometime in the
you,
future.
you know
So
how
we
your
can make
mum
my
feels about the washing.
yeah,
That's her OCD taking over. That's what that
yeah, my
is.
mother has OCD. But I mean, she tries her best.
It's okay. Yes. All of our parents have it.
I was like, "Where are we sticking that?" She goes, "Right across the yard." I'm going,
Where am
"You
I
can't
going to
stop
go
me."
and meditate in the grass before the
Yeah,
washing is everywhere?
I'm gonna just sit on the table out there, and I know there's not a good space, but there's gonna be like I've literally got demoted. So I had my gardening table by the grass, and everything was all set out with my tools, and they got shoved down the corner that no one goes.
You're like, huh? Yeah.
It's kind of in the mud. So I'm gonna go get me some pavers and put down pavers so I can actually walk on things. So yeah, because it's
That
all muddy.
sounds
It's
good.
not mud. It's just like dirt. Because they must
Yeah.
have had like a garden there. Because we're kind of
Yeah.
new to this place, so I don't know what they did, but it's just dirt. And so my table was on the outside. Now it's by this dirt patch, and so I thought I'd just get some pavers.
Yeah, make it
Put it
your
like
own.
yeah, make our own little secret garden over that corner. I actually was. I've kind of been a little bit less. I've been a lot more detached with this house than the other house.
Yeah. That's because you need
I've been
time. That's all.
time to disconnect. Yeah. Well,
Mm.
I told you last week I drove
Mm.
home to my old house, parked up the driveway like I do, sitting there playing on my game, and then I was like, "Oh my god, I don't even live here anymore."
Well, it's all right. That's what I mean. We came to pick the baby up, and because we were tired after work, we autopilot went to the old house. Had to
Yeah,
drive
no,
past
because
the
I'm
old
so used to
house
going,
to keep
dropping the
going to
boys
your
off,
house.
and then going to the old house. Go, it happens sometimes. But yeah,
I dreamed a
I don't
light
do
bulb
active
was in
stuff.
my mouth. It broke, and I was picking out the pieces of glass. I was
I do.
very. It sounds like
Oh,
an anxiety dream, eh? Very
yeah, that
upset
is an
my dream.
anxiety too. Yeah, that
I've
is
had dreams
so.
like that.
Anything to
Not
do with
that,
like
but
teeth or your mouth and things
yeah.
like that, there's usually a truth that you're holding back or something you want to bring to the light or share with someone. That's what that is. So sometimes, like if you have dreams about tsunamis, that's usually about financial stress. But when it pertains to specifically to the mouth, that's usually about not being able to share some kind of truth or say something to someone that you've been. It's like suppressed, and so it's like wait, it wants to come out, and that's probably why you were upset because there's a lot of energy or energy stuck that wants to be expressed by you to someone else or about a situation. Oh, thank you, Elaine. Bless you. It will be. Yeah, it's just taking me a little bit to get used to the house, and uh, because in the other house there was a lot more space, there was a lot more backyard, and I had my gardens. I had like three large gardens going off, so it's sort of now it's less yard. It's a nicer house, but it's less yard, and I've just sort of been finding it hard going outside without my cat, and I'm not bringing him up. But I still cry in
I
the
didn't
mornings for
say
for my
anything.
boy. I still cry for my boy. Still miss him. It's funny too because in the middle of last night, my other cat Jesse, he was like tripping out. He was like running around the house like he was being chased, or it could have been the wind that was freaking him out. I says, "Flea, go to heaven for FFS. Leave Jesse alone. Stop trying to torment him. You got to go to heaven. It's okay. One day we'll meet again. Like
Even
let him go,
even
let
in
him go."
death, even in
Because I
death,
had this
Jesse can't get a
even in
break.
deep.
Like,
Because he was just standing there, he was by his bowl, and then he literally does this flip, and then he started running around the house, and I thought, oh my God, this cat never ever does stuff like that,
runs. He never runs.
Only
He'll
from
do it.
fleas. So that's what I was saying. It was running for a flea. It was going, go to heaven, flea. Leave Jesse alone. Because it took a while for me. Might
Hmm?
have a spiritual cat energy. That's okay.
I
That's
have
actually
noticed
really
every
nice.
time I go to your house, Jesus is asleep in your room.
Is it?
Yeah. Every time I've come over, there he is on your bed with
Yes,
his
because now I
white
just have to
fluff.
fight for it. When I was younger, I always went to swimming towards a big hole in the sea. I couldn't swim until 12. Oh, yeah, the oceans are about emotions. So water or ocean or the ocean is usually about some type of emotional space. So if that's, it's sort of like maybe it's just time to really go deep on your and look at what's hiding or hidden or suppressed in there. Because our dreams are literally where our mind washes itself. Um, it's like a rinse, a cleansing. So when we have dreams and stuff, our minds go through like we're going into those alpha waves and everything's getting reset and realigned. And sometimes our dreams are like the little bits that haven't been defragged properly in our program because there's our energy still focused on it. Especially dreams that don't leave you feeling good or better. Dreams about worry or stress, those are usually things that you're feeling in your life or it's a sensitivity, like I said, to other people's stress that they may be feeling as well. So there's a lot that could be like that's why discernment about who you are and about what is yours and what is not yours is really important with spiritual awakenings because you become so sensitive that you could literally, like I said, dream other people's dreams or pick up on their fears and anxieties if it doesn't resonate with you. Um, and if there's someone else, so my mum used to be, well, used to be, still is, a very strong dreamer. So she used to be able to, if she would get a dream about someone, she would go and see them and or tell them something was going on. Because 9 times out of 10 she would have dreams for others, and a few of her dreams have actually come true. Uh, and where she's gone to these people prior and actually warned them. And so when the situation played out, they were forewarned, which is forearmed. And she talks about it a lot. She resists the spiritual journey like me, like going in depth, because I don't want to speak for her, but I just think she doesn't necessarily want to go through the healing phase of facing her own demons, which is everyone's right to. You don't have to if you don't want to. It's only by choice that you do. And I don't judge you for it because at first I was like, spirituality, blah, blah, blah. I had this really like almighty space of, you got to do the healing, blah, blah, blah. But as I've learnt, sort of evolved in that space, we just pull it back and we just let people come towards it when they're ready, in their own time, in their own way. That's spiritual, that's expansion, that's allowing, that's surrendering to divine timing. She may never choose to heal those spaces, and that's okay. That's okay for her. And that's why I don't try to control her with what none of my family, I don't try to control any of them, even though sometimes I get a lot of stuff and I want to share, but I don't because it's not my place. It's not that it's not my place. It's like I can't tell them what to do with their own life. They have to make their own decisions. They're like my kids and things like that. Yeah, and my mother, and it's her choice to live her life her way. And I would say that's the true understanding of what spirituality really is openness, to whatever, and accepting that people are different. Yeah, for me it was sink or swim too. So it's either heal or just literally spiral out into I don't even know I can't even imagine my life without being spiritual. I think it would be a horrible space. I was pretty miserable prior to my healing journey, so I had no choice. It was either sink or swim for me too. It's like I
Yeah.
had to choose. Hey, I had to. There's no way the old me, the me that existed before, or that version of me would have ever coped now.
So I'm
I would
glad
have literally
that you
enjoyed everything.
have
Yeah, me
become
too.
this version of yourself. Do you know what I mean?
I'm a lot more mellow.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I try to be. I still get the ugly face when I'm getting mad and the shit, but
But
uh,
who doesn't?
but way
You
less.
are human. You're allowed to get mad.
Yeah. Oh, kia ora, Sarah. Yeah, but for me, I had no choice too. Oh, well, at least I felt like I had no choice because I wouldn't have existed in either way if I had stayed there. So yeah, it's just about allowing that evolution to happen. Thank you. Allowing yourself to just find freedom, really. Yeah. I think, I don't know, I was pretty miserable and
No.
quite
Yes,
depressed.
just
So
like would
I had
not be
really strong,
normal.
yeah, I don't think I would have been able to cope um, at all because I suffered really bad depression
I feel like
back
this
in the
was the
day.
person you were always meant to be at this time.
Yeah, I believe
You
that
know?
too because I always say, why didn't I wake up when I was like 25? When I was still young,
Yeah.
before I
Because you
actually
weren't
lived through
ready.
like hell and torment. Um, but all of that, even when I look back at it, all of it was self-inflicted. I chose that life. I made those choices. And yep, I didn't have the greatest um, team member, but not everything was his fault. I had a lot of baggage going in that I realized now that I had. And so, yeah, I don't know if I would have been able to exist at this in this reality, which sounds weird to say, but yeah. I think I just redirected myself because there was no other way for me. But I also looked up my birth chart, which is interestingly enough, and I've got a little conjunction in there, and it's in that space that said that I would become spiritual, more spiritual based as I got older because it's the wisdom. And funnily enough, my name actually means wisdom. And so it's the wisdom in my soul that would start to activate as I got older. So even that, knowing why didn't I wake up that time is because I had to wake up at this time because this is the time that's more beneficial for me and my soul and the work I need to do. So I believe if I had woken up at other times, I would have been more ego based. I would have been a lot more um, strict about things, eh?
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like
Plus,
it
if
in
you
sort
had
of
woken up at a different time, you might not have had all your children, who are all amazing,
mm,
all unique, like they're all completely different,
all
which
of it.
is like they're all
Yeah,
completely
well,
different,
no,
but all awesome.
I never regret. I never regret having the kids.
You
They've
know what I mean?
actually been blessings. Yeah, yeah. But I see them as blessings too now because I never used to. I used to think they were a burden. Like it was just the way I thought that they were a burden and that life was shite because I had them all, but it wasn't their fault. It's because I was
Mm.
always passing the blame off onto somebody, something else. And it wasn't until I had my spiritual awakening that I actually took responsibility for my choices, and that's what changed everything. I took accountability for all the stuff I'd done, and so in doing that, made amends with a lot of things within myself, with my kids, so that as I heal, I'm able to really focus on them. Because before I was a good mum, don't get me wrong,
Mm.
but I was also a stressed mum. I was almost also a traumatized mum and a traumatized human and a traumatized child. So it's sort of like, like it's now I'm not. I'm healed. Well, I'm more healed than traumatized. And so I don't suffer as much. And so my suffering isn't in my reality. I mean, I'm getting old. I'm suffering from aches and pains sometimes and
But that's all in the
headaches.
physical.
I still get headaches from my children. But they're more blessed to have them, and they're my best friends. I don't really have many friends besides my actual cousins and aunties.
Mm.
The other ones are my children. My circle is small, but I don't mind it that way.
That's what I mean. It's because you get every kind of personality with your kids. Because that's what I mean. They're
Yeah,
all so
all my
unique.
personalities.
Yeah. But that's cool. Like I like it because you
Yeah,
can ask all of them the same question and kind of get it like a different answer.
yeah, yeah. There's 7 of them. So yeah,
And I
7.
love it.
I reckon I called them all this different, 7 different versions of my personality, or 7 personalities versions of my
Well, that's like
personality, my
Shadi
different
misses
dysfunction.
Shadi was wanted to do a post with Baby and Moyata, and she goes, "Is Zehu Tai and Pepe cousins?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "It gets real confusing, but like
Yeah,
me and your mum are cousins, but really your mum's like my big sister, and
yeah,
then there's you, but like technically you and Zehu Tai sit in the same place." But I was like, but that's not even how we think in a way. Like in Māoridom, yes, they're cousins and that's it. Shh. We're just going to leave it
yeah,
at that.
cousins,
Let's not get too confused.
auntie cousin.
Well, it's
You're my auntie cousin.
for
Oh,
yeah, with Pepe and Zehutai, she's like, what are they? I was like, cousins.
yeah.
We don't
Oh, because I
do
was saying auntie. It's your auntie. Only because of age.
yeah, well
Shadi,
that's what I
the
said.
auntie. But
And that's why I was
my
like,
auntie would be cousins. Yeah.
yeah.
That would make them
I was,
cousins. Yeah.
it makes them cousins. Because I was like,
Yeah.
well, we'll think of it more like oh sorry. He's going to sleep, so this is why we're doing this. Um
Sorry.
I was saying to her, because because your mum is more like my big sister, because we've lived
Mm.
close or lived together my whole life.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
how old's nearly 30? How old are you? 29.
Yeah, I turned 30 this year.
It's a good age. It's a great age. 30s, 40s, it just gets better, I reckon. Like
I'm
I'm
not
not
even
even.
bothered, really. Not bothered.
You're not good for 30.
I just I just don't want to spend a lot of money. No.
Yeah.
Does that make
Oh,
sense? I just
do you never wake up thinking I can't do this anymore? Yeah. I've woken up like that. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. Still young. Yeah. Yeah. Still
spring.
very young. I wish I was 30. Like, I wish I was still 30. Just physically, just so I could, like, get things done faster. Because I think ever since I caught COVID too, like this year, I've gotten really
Mm.
slow.
Oh, I
Because I
think
was quite
everybody
strong.
has.
Yeah, it really knocked me for six, like strength wise. I'm quite strong physically because I'm quite tall and big, but I've just been finding it harder. But I
I feel
mean,
like that ever
I
since I had the
was saying
baby.
during exercise, I was exercising, and then I got COVID, and it just put it all on the back burner. But I need to get back into that. But yes, Elaine Parker, yes, I have woken up and thought that I I can't do it anymore. I did it heaps for years, and yet I kept waking up.
And
You know
that's
what I mean?
what
Like,
counts.
and that was a burden. Well, it was a
As long
burden
as
to
you
me to
keep
wake up.
waking up.
Yeah. But I'm glad I'm like now when I wake up, I'm like, yeah, well sometimes it depends on how late I'm in bed. But my attitude towards my day is like, yes, another day, this is good. Um, I feel better about, about my life and waking up. Even though I wake up I might have a sore back or sore legs, but it's nothing compared to being or suffering with mental illness, because that's what it
Mm.
was, mental illness, or just a lack of mental health awareness.
Mm.
Um, I think that's what spirituality really does. It just makes you think about your mental health and makes a more clearer sort of path for you if you've kind of lost your way there. Oh, oh, awesome! Thank you. Namahi to you as well. Yes, every day is a
Mm.
blessing. That's how I see it. Every day is a blessing now. And it wasn't always like that. Like I admit that I was very negative about life. I admit that I was very depressed and that I didn't actually want to be alive some days. And I don't say that candidly. It's actually quite common. And so on the spiritual journey, loving myself was really important because as soon as I started to love myself, then I started to love my life and love my kids better, like have more appreciation for what I do have. Because one thing I realize now is that, and I say this quite a lot, the you that is now, like the Sonia that you see now, this is the only time this Sonia is going to exist. There is no other life. I don't come back as Sonia. I don't come back. So in this time, I have to make it worth it. And I don't have that long to go. Like when I look at the scheme, I was saying to the kids when we were talking about buying a house, in 30 years, which would be a mortgage, I'll be 74 years old, or nearly 73, 74. And I was thinking to myself, holy shit, because that's not that long when you get to this age. That ain't that
No.
far. I was like, I've got a lot of living to do in this short amount of time. So it's just learning to break free of all the structures in my mind that stop me from living. That is still sometimes a big obstacle for me to get through because I'm still very hermit-like. So I slowly but surely break out of the cycles of no and break into the cycles of, yes, I want to do this because I know this is going to help me live. And that part's hard because I don't really like to drink or find the party scene very uplifting for me. And so it's learning to find pleasures in other things. And sometimes that's my own company. Like last night, I had to tend to my daughter who's home from hospital because she got quite sick. She got the flu, like really, really sick, where I had to literally kind of like nurse her. It wasn't COVID, it was just the flu because she was finding it hard to breathe. She was really, she had headaches and things like that. So I tended to her last night. So there was no one else home except me, her, and my oldest son, and who doesn't come out of the room because he's gaming. And it was just me because she was asleep, and so I was just like playing on the guitar last night and I posted a TikTok of me singing, which is really hard because I get shy of my singing, even though you guys hear me when I do readings.
Oh, cool though.
But it was hard to play because I got long nails, so I need to cut my nails, but I don't cut my nails at night. It's just a superstitious thing.
Do you want to
Oh,
see
that's thank
along?
you, body count. Sure.
Did you hear Bruce like chair fall over before? So Bruce fell over on the chair, and look what happened.
Who broke it?
Yeah, I told him that was
Oh, poor
that's,
Bruce.
that's God's way of telling you to get off the game.
Get off the game, yes. Hi, Autumn. Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. I watched it on I think I was on Instagram, and I was flicking through all the
Oh,
stories.
yeah. It wasn't perfect. I was like, oh no, because I did like 50 million times, and it's always that last note at the end that gets me. And I was like, stop it. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. I just put it up because I like to
I
show
watched
different sides of myself.
and that's it.
Kia ora, Autumn. Yeah, it's sort of like I don't just want to be always spiritual. Like some of my stuff can be really silly, and some of it can be mainly spiritual. We all know. Don't get
Yeah,
me wrong. But I try to show, the human part of me too, the human in me, just to get to know
but
me on
that's cool.
in different
Yeah.
areas. Yeah, I used to play the guitar all the time. I used to love playing the guitar. I
Yeah.
could play any song I wanted, but because I'm so focused on spirituality, like these other skills that I have, they're getting more quieter. So I wanted to jam on the guitar last night. I wanted to sing some of my old songs. And that particular song, Heading in the Right Direction by Renee Gayer, that one used to be literally a narrative of my life. But because you really can only do 1 minute, or you can go 3 minutes if you want to. I used to think since I was a small girl, I was always on my own, and that song always resonated. But at the end, it gets better. If you think about that song, as the song goes along, it actually gets better. Now that I'm a woman, now that and it's sort of like, that's why I always like that song because
No.
I always like the first verse. But even though I only sung the first verse, it's the second verse or the second part that really resonates with me now. So it's still the same song. Um, but yeah, it was just something I used to always sing that song It's like a favorite party song. Um, but because I'm not in my party zone, I just partied with myself. You should do more. Oh, it's a gift. It's a gift, not a curse.
Mhm.
It sometimes feels like a curse because you get put into spaces that are uncomfortable, and I think it only becomes a curse when you use it with the wrong intentions. So I keep myself, or at least I keep myself in check, and I make sure that my intentions towards what I'm doing is with integrity and for the benefit of not just myself but others. So I think it's when you start using it in a way that's ego based and or for material gain, because it's not material gain, but like material gain in an ego based way becomes a
Mhm.
curse. People will often say that seeing things is a curse. Like, I don't like seeing spirits, feeder spirits or other ones, non human energies. But the more that I become knowledgeable about that space, the less frightening it becomes for me. So it's sort of like, let's just say, once you see, you can't unsee. That's something I'll always say. And you can't unknow. Once
Mhm.
you know. There is no going back. Um, so it's sort of like embracing it as it is, as it unfolds, because each of us have that gift. I'm not special. You have it too, Elaine. Um, it's just levels of awareness. That's all. Uh, and mine was just, I was always super sensitive. And so it made sense. Like if you knew who my parents were, you would understand why I was so sensitive, because neither of my parents express emotion or not that openly. Um, Even though I'm estranged from my father, I know that he keeps a lot to himself, and the same as my mum. So it makes sense that out of those two, they would produce a child that was extra sensitive. Like it's fate, it's the balance. And I would often say when I refer to my father, I'm literally his counterbalance. I'm the complete opposite, or what brings his energy into balance for how he expresses himself. And the same as with my mum. But my energy with my mum is more harmonious because me and her are close. Um, and so it's sort of like, I used to always blame my mother for stuff, by the way, because I thought everything was her fault. Because it kind of was, but it wasn't. It was just the way I saw it. But as I sort of embarked upon my spiritual healing, I understood why she was the way she was. And so I just accepted her. So it allowed me to put all those inadequate childhood feelings to rest and chapters closing, because I can just let her be who she is. But yeah, it's sort of like, I don't believe it's a curse if you use it to help people. It's that's all it was ever for. From my point of view, was just to help people to show up and share and to hopefully help people find those keys to those doors and open those doors and not to be afraid. Because if I can do it, you can do it. Literally. If you had seen what I was like and see me now, it's too same kind of I'm the same person, like the same personality, but just and expressed completely different, more loving, more open, more happy, that kind of way. Yeah, I blame my mum. I did right up until um I would say, how old am I? 43? No, 40. Because I was like, I had a lot of childhood trauma. I had a lot of inner childhood stuff that needed to be healed, and I
Give me
didn't know
the
how to do
number.
it. And I
Tell
didn't
me
know
when I'm
how to express that to my mum. So
done.
everything that went bad
No,
in my
that's
life
all.
was
In
because
the
of my
kitchen.
mum. But when I looked at her as a woman to woman after the stuff I'd been through, I understood why she did what she did and why things were hard for her to heal. Because it is hard to heal. It is hard, especially for, you have to understand we're sort of in the age of awareness. We're in an age where information is easy to access. We can access people that have that awareness. So, but back in the day, healing was a private thing. They weren't given the tools to cope through things either. And so you have to understand that even if our parents weren't the best parents, they did the best of what they had at the time. For some of them, not all of them. Some parents were really bad. So, it's only for those ones that you still feel connected to now. But then I just released her from that burden. But in doing that, released myself from that burden too. My kids the same to me, but now they realize I was the way I was because that was my journey. Yeah, so true, eh? Because, like same as for me, I'd love to have never gone through all that crap. But in the end, it's like I said, it's like the bigger picture. It's this: don't despair if things don't go to plan. Believe there are bigger things at play in your life. The universe in its divine genius, moving things around, and you've got to kind of know the dark to know the light, or at least appreciate the light more. And the darkness is just like a really strong growth phase. It's like how many of us became resilient because of the dark times in our life? How many of us learned to understand others and become empathetic to others because of the dark times in our lives? And we actually came to a lot of understanding and actually found our own strength through these dark times in our lives. And it's in the space of illumination, or when we find that light, that we can actually use the tools that we learn while in the dark to help people that are still in that space, to pull them out, and to help people um, find their way again or remember the light that they have. Because, yes, we get very consumed in the darkness, we get very consumed with it. It's quite seductive because it's an easy way, hard way to live, but an easy way to sort of like instant gratification, ego, pride, all those kind of negative connections. But when we actually come into love, peace, and harmony, um, it asks us to be more expansive. What does love, peace, and harmony actually mean to you? And so the light has its own demands as much as the dark, but it's in the dark. And I watched this video, and I know this sounds weird, but I watched this video, and this lady challenged us, and it was talking about who told you the dark was bad. Who told you the dark was bad? Because it's sort of like a lot of people are coming to a space of decolonization. And I'm not talking about in the racial terms, but just like taking ourselves back and back. Because, okay, hopefully this is making sense for you guys. When people were initiated into high, levels of power, as in the temples and that, through like high priestesses or high priest, they had to go through an initiation of darkness. So a lot of that, like especially in Egyptian times, they had to go through initiation where they would be put in a chamber which was completely dark for 3 days. And it's almost like a shamanic journey if anyone's gone on a vision quest before, where you get left out in the wilderness and you just commune with spirit. And it's in those spaces of darkness and aloneness that we actually find the ability to connect and be initiated into the light. So it's just part and parcel of spiritual work, is that the dark spaces are not necessarily negative spaces. But if we turn it around and look at growth spaces, so that's why I always say a growing phase. If you look at all the spaces in your life that were really dark times, each time you've grown in those spaces, just like a seed. And yet we grow out, we break through the dirt or the darkness, and it's the light that allows us to expand. But it's in the ground that does all the hard yards. It's that seed that chooses to live and then creates roots and then creates the plant that bursts through the top. So it's sort of like that understanding that things can still grow in the darkness. So it's learning not to embrace like very set ideals when it comes to spirituality. Don't have to walk away from it all. What do you mean by that, Hope, Lily? Stargazer? Yeah, our parents. That was the era, yeah. That was the era, Natasha. But they weren't given the tools. They were not given the tools to cope or coping mechanisms that, like we have to understand that we're kind of lucky to be in that an age where we can open our minds to something new, whereas our parents are very set and it's very hard for them to shift. I wouldn't say it's difficult if they wanted to. Oh, my family, I have no kids or husband. Yeah. Oh, that's okay. I mean, here's the thing. If you if you feel like your family are not allowing you to grow or to allow you to heal, then choose wisely how you respond to that. Because I know there's a lot of space where in spirituality it says, oh, you have to let go of this, you have to release, you have to cut connections because they're toxic. I think first you have to try to make it right. If they don't want to make it right, then you have no other, it's sort of like, well, you leave me no choice. I could choose to stay here and in this connection that's miserable, or I could choose to walk away and find something new. But it comes down to, can you make it right first? Because sometimes you can heal something simply by saying, hey, this happened to me. I need to speak about it. Can we get over it? Can we heal this? Or can you open your mind up to things? And a lot of that, like, a lot of it is about forgiveness. Like with my mum, I had to forgive her. She didn't even know half the stuff that I feel because it's not comfortable for her to talk about. But in my own way, I forgive her because I actually understand her. And it's sort of just recognizing the human in them, the human in them, and trying to make things right. And if they don't want to make it right, at least you can say, well, I tried. Because I think it's worse when people just throw people out or disconnect from them abruptly, unless they deserve it. Don't get me wrong. Um, uh, and then always have this shoulda, coulda, woulda. I should have, wish I had made peace. Blah blah blah. But sometimes you just got to get out of that space. I'm a scapegoat. I think it's more like the black sheep. It's not a negative. It's actually a space where you don't want to repeat the same patterns. It's actually an empowering space to be in. I often said I was a black sheep too because I just decided to not be how I was expected to be. Loving them from a distance. Yeah, some people, you just got to create that space. Yeah, you just got to create that space between you and them just to give yourself space to heal things, to get over things. I think a lot for me was just, allowing forgiveness. That was the hardest part. It's hard with our children. We forgive them very fast. Some people do, not everyone. Um, I think my children are still fairly young that they haven't done, but I have really good relationships with my kids. Um, I think it's because their dad, they don't communicate with their dad. They've always communicated with me, and I've always been real with my kids straight up. So I think it comes down to really communicating with the kids and and allowing yourself to understand, them and for them to understand you. Yep. So sometimes people come into your life. So soul contracts are a really awesome thing to bring up. Sometimes soul contracts that you have with people come into your life to either teach you a lesson or to help you. And they don't necessarily come in to stay. So someone karmic will come in, they'll teach you a lesson. Usually these are the ones that leave, but it's soulmates that come in to help you in your time of need. So soulmates actually lift you up and karmic relationships bring you down. Okay? So soulmate connections lift you up, karmic connections bring you down. And that's because they're supposed to bring you down, like I said, to spaces of growth, dark times, lower vibration, because it's there in that space as the seed that you must choose to rise up into the light. But you also have to understand, um, some people could be karmic for years because you've got to go through that whole process of learning that lesson. And it's once you learn the lesson and then apply it that then it changes the vibration. And then you go into either the end of the soul contract. Because people can just come in, teach you something, and then abruptly leave. Like it's like, boom, they're gone. Whoa. Or you could say, boom, you're gone, as soon as it's time. And feel no need to go and reconnect because, it's sort of like you've learnt that lesson, never going back there again. And I've done that many times with certain people because for me, I feel like I'm just like someone who, I don't want to say naive, but I'm just willing to listen to people and different personalities and different um, points of view when it comes to spirituality. That sometimes not everybody has the right intention. So some people I'll hang out with, cool, and then once I sort of feel this need to step back, I will. That's just what I do. Because that's the end of that, that lesson with that person. And thank you for what you've taught me, and thank you for what I've shown you. And I enjoyed that time, but now it's my time to leave. And I've done that with people that I really cared about as well. And it's not an easy space. Um, but it's sort of like with soul contracts, a lot of that is learning boundaries. Once you create a boundary, that soul contract is fulfilled, whether that's a boundary with them in it or a boundary with them outside of it. And I will often say, if I have any soul contracts out there that are negative for me or that aren't serving me, I graciously and lovingly release myself and that person from this contract. And it's just an energetic intention to release me from anything that's really pulling me down or no longer serves me. It's just like anything. Once you set that intention with soul contracts, because some soul contracts could be really, really shitty with people, and it's like this. Sometimes they come in to teach you things, and sometimes they come in to help you do things. But sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes you've come in to teach them things, and sometimes you've come in to help them. So you have to understand that you too are a soul contracted person playing out this game of life. And you're not always the hero. Sometimes you're the villain in someone else's healing journey. That's just how it goes, and sort of how it ends up being sometimes. That I'm not always the hero in the story of a soul contract with another. I try my best though. Most of the times, because I got a kind heart or whatever, with people. Most of the time, I'm the one that's trying to help, which can be very empathic of me to do so. So, oh shit, sorry guys. Black sheep, I forgive. I'm stronger now. That's right. That's right. Black sheep. Um, and that's why you are, because you're breaking a pattern. Because sometimes people can't forgive, and some people can't get stronger because of it. Oh, guess what, Hope? You will actually get stronger. You don't realize how strong you really are. It's also really hard when you're the only one in the family who cares about these types of things. Okay, I just want to say, body count. Yes, it is hard when you're the only person in that family or your blood family, but you have a soul family that can come in and also help you heal.
100%.
Yeah, which I understand, but it got too much. Oh. Well, that's his, Natasha, with your son, if he still has a lot of anger, that's his lesson to process. And it's sort of like, you can only do so much when it comes to healing. You have to just say, if I'm not the one to help you, that's okay. Go out and find your way. And it's sometimes very heartbreaking to see that, because they say often that your children are your karma. So that if you have children, it creates karma. And it's because everything that you didn't learn or that you didn't learn at the right time, they're the ones that have to play it out and learn it for you. And oh man, I got a lot to learn. But I'm not
I
afraid,
feel
because
you.
yeah, but it's sort of
I
like,
swear
and sort
my
of knowing that, hey, so carry on.
I swear my daughters now are me now, skipping all the things that I had already been. So skipping the shy, quiet me, very socially awkward me, skipping straight to very badass me, but sucks because me in a 3-year-old body is a shit, you know? I was
This
like,
is a terrible threes. You wait till she
I
goes
was
to
like,
school, she'll melt it
no,
right
but I
out.
was like, no, but Ava's the same. I was like, where's the awkward, quiet, shy person that I was? I didn't get that.
Because what is Ava? She's Capricorn, but Aries too, eh? Is she in the cusp?
Uh, I think it's a Aquarius
Capricorn.
and
Oh,
Aquarius.
Aquarius.
Yeah.
Aquarius.
Yeah, she's on the
Oh yeah, yeah,
21st
yeah,
of
yeah,
June,
yeah, yeah. No, no, you're right.
January.
Sorry, that was my brain.
The only one who's
Yeah, because I'm
close
thinking
to like
Tasman and
me,
Charlie are Aquarius as well.
the only one who's close to like me
Capricorn and
is
Aquarius.
Cairo, and I didn't even give birth to her. I just got her, but she's the one most like me.
Because she's at that age.
Yeah,
She's at that. I've known Ashley since she was born, so it's interesting that she
literally.
stays there. Because I remember the 12-year-old there. She was actually really lovely, quiet and very
Yes, because I
understanding.
had severe social
Well, let's
anxiety.
hope,
So,
let's hope she's not a teenage Ash.
oh, she was just trying to figure out
Like
who she
you,
was.
you
She
actually
didn't
were a
want
pretty good
to.
teenager, actually.
But I didn't realize I was living with anxiety my whole life until I was like 25 and
Oh, I
23.
didn't find out till about 40, so I'm glad you found out at a young age.
Well, no,
But
I
yeah, but
didn't know.
that's what I mean. It just takes a year. We don't know. That's half of the problem with when we're living our life is that we don't actually know we're stressed out and that we
Yeah.
have anxiety.
Well, it's only because I ended up getting like full on agoraphobia and wasn't leaving the house, so I had to go to the doctor. Yeah.
Mm,
And then they
yeah.
gave me, and then I was like on meds for a little bit. I was like, oh, is this what normal people feel like? Like, does not everyone have their like 24/7? I didn't know that.
But your cancers are usually pretty um, high functioning overthinkers.
Well, yes, and that's
Yeah.
me. But I also
I have
realized
a cancer mood, but it's my emotions.
not all the anxiety I feel is my own.
No, that's right. It's
I
empathic.
get real
So
overwhelmed by other people's
cancers are
anxiety.
ruled by the solar plexus, and the solar plexus is ruled by your empathic abilities. So, it makes sense that you're sensitive too. Quite sensitive cancers are. Yes, Aisha, a soulmate will also leave once their time is. It's sort of like, but everybody's your soulmate. Like my cat, he was my soulmate. I still call him my soulmate, my soul family. And even people that you love. Sometimes they come in when you need them the most, and sometimes they go when you love them the most. So it's just that time. It's sort of like some souls are just here specifically to help you, and when their help has been fulfilled, then they just leave your reality in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, so yeah, just ask for a positive contract, Aisha.
Mm.
Ask for a positive soul contract to come forward. You can literally ask for what you want with the energy and set that intention every day, asking for this energy and sort of believing that it will come forward. Because here's the thing, it's sort of like, when you actually are very specific with the universe then has time to create it. So if you want to have companionship in your life, then ask for that positive companionship to come forward. Exactly what you want. Because like I talk about a lot, we all often know what we don't want, but we have to get more specific about what we do want. Not so much the looks, but what that person is, how they go about themselves, and just asking for it and manifesting.
100%. I believe that. That's how I meant.
Yeah.
Though Bruce is a bit shit sometimes. Overall, his heart and his everything that I wanted in a man after going through shitty men,
Yeah,
I
shitty
got.
man. Train
You
train
know,
them up.
I was very specific about what I wanted because I realized I'm a great manifester. That's how I got my son.
You might
I
be
was
a
very
manifesting
specific.
generator. Yep.
And that's what I got. I got someone who
Yeah.
also has a large, loving family, someone who's also extremely family orientated, someone who's super friendly like me, sociable
Yeah.
like me. I actually really just wanted me, but as a man. And if you look at my husband, he kind of looks like me too. So that's what I got.
I'm sorry, I just saw.
You see it now, eh? Like we're
Yeah.
not the same, but we're very
Well, that's how
similar.
it goes, though.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yeah, I know what you mean. I know
and
what you
I
mean.
needed someone who was more passive because I can be a bit aggressive and controlling. So I needed someone not that, someone a bit more passive, so that we could live more harmoniously.
Yeah, that's a Cancer Libra trait, though.
Mm.
It's actually quite interesting how that works out.
Yeah.
I didn't think Cancer. I don't know, it makes sense. Like Nan was a Cancer. I love Nan. You're a Cancer. Joanna's a Cancer, but I'm a Cancer moon. So sort of like it makes sense that I would resonate at some point with Cancers when it came to their feelings. But yeah,
Mm.
sorry. I've been through the worst and I realized so much and learned the hard way. That's that's usually how it goes. And I've been through a lot too, and I learned everything the hard way. Yes, my dad always said I was like, oh, that's
Oh,
his projections and his limitations. Like you have to understand if that was a negative leader, Aquarius. My daughter is the worst version of me. Even my father agrees. I gave birth 3 generations in one.
Most of my build was to do with building, have all my machines.
That's got to be tough. Yes, my son is the me that I was not strong and open
just
with his
think if
feelings.
your daughter
He's
is
Leo. Leo's
strong-willed,
have it hard.
if you feel like your daughter's strong-willed, this is what I tell myself anyway, because my daughters are very strong-willed, especially the two that I gave birth to. These are going to be amazing traits when they're women and they are strong-minded and strong-willed. They won't have a man come trample all over them. So just hold on, hold on.
I
It
think the
will.
world will be completely different by the time they're woman, hopefully, for the
Good,
better.
good. That's what I hope.
But that's a
But
good
who
trait to
knows?
have.
Who
Keeps
knows?
them
Some
kind of
places are going backwards. Some places are going backwards instead of forwards. So
well, no, that's how it goes. It's sort of like Earth's in retrograde because we never talk about Earth being in retrograde. This could be literally Earth in retrograde. So we go backwards, they go forwards, so it's like a slingshot.
hope.
Hopefully,
Let's. I.
slingshot us into a better future. That's for sure.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
Leo's actually, Natasha. If dealing with a Leo, they have deep emotional feelings. Leos are really need to be catered to and tended to. Like they're more hands on. Um, Especially like the men Leos. The women Leos are quite feisty, but the men Leos find it hard and their emotions are really hard to express. He has to be completely
Um.
feels like he's safe before he actually really will allow himself to communicate how he feels because most of them would just cut it off. But the lion's heart, he has a big heart. And if you can go into what matters to him and connect with that space, you'll be able to understand him a bit better. And he might actually come forward and share something that allows healing between the two of you. So many famous Aquarius. See, look, famous Aquarius. I know it
She
is.
is
We're going into the
that.
age of Aquarius. It should amplify all Aquarians. It's an actual beautiful star sign to be in these times coming.
Let's have the drive. a real dry.
I think he's too hurt the people who hurt us, but I have forgiven. Yeah.
From here to Hastings from Gisborne.
Yeah, Natasha, a lot for him is just learning to heal in his own time and pace. It's sort of like all you can do is support. You can't keep trying to cater to him if he's not allowing that. So when it is time, then tend to him. But other than that, he has to go through his own stuff. Like, it's sort of like
That's what I mean.
give him the responsibility of his own healing. Say, I love you, I'm here for you, I'll support you, but you're responsible for healing this. If you might allow me in to help you, then you have to find a way to get over it. So it's just having that talk about things, like an open, honest conversation. Do you like watching? Yes, I actually watched Dolores Cannon. I'm actually purchasing one of her books this week. I was just unsure which one to purchase, but most of them we can get on audio books or watch a lot of her chats on YouTube. I've actually watched quite a few of her chats. I find her really, really interesting. And I was actually wanting to do past life regression this year, but the universe kind of threw me on a sort of like a redirection, because I was actually going to do psychology this year, but because of the fact that we had to move and that became very stressful, it sort of flung everything in different directions. But she was actually a big inspiration for that space, to do past life regression, because I was doing a lot of that in my spiritual work, and I just wanted to learn more about that scientifically, so that I could practice that as part of my healing practice. So yes, I love Dolores Cannon. Yes, just keep asking for it, Aisha. That's all. And that's what I deserve this. This is what life is about, is understanding your own abundance and what you do deserve, and believing that you can have it. Because sometimes we want that ultimate companion, and it manifests somewhere else or somewhere, but you can't have the connection that you want, because it's sort of like there's something within you that doesn't quite allow that door to open. So it's sort of like self-belief in what you deserve matters. So it's like this, the life review, how you treat someone matters, how you treat yourself matters, how you see yourself and treat yourself matters, because it creates your energy field.
Oh,
beautiful.
I'm glad I made you laugh, Aisha. That was the point. Because it doesn't all have to be, real.
Yeah, it doesn't always have to be so serious.
Yeah.
My grandmother and mother, it's the karma, right? That's the karma. See, my daughter's also an Aquarius, Rashadi. She's 21 years old, but her issue is she's the inward Aquarius, so she doesn't communicate. So sometimes you have to understand they might be an Aquarius, but what's their moon and what's their rising? See, their rising might be like Leo or like an Aries or a fire sign if they're very strong-willed. What's another one? Scorpio, Taurus. Oh, you've got a Taurus.
Yes.
Those are really strong-willed types of energies. So you have to understand that with the rising sign will be how the world sees them. Even though they might be like a Aquarius star sign or sun sign, their moon will dictate how they feel, and their rising will dictate how they present themselves to the world. So I'm a Capricorn rising. So I always come across as being cool, calm, and collected, but inside, it's a hell of a mess. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's sort of like that. It's sort of like I'm a Libra sun. Well, actually, originally I was Scorpio, but then all of a sudden things sort of shifted a little bit, and I'm a Libra. And because I'm right on the cusp there, like literally on the cusp, 23rd of October. And so I always believed I was Scorpio, and then I was Libra. And for Libra's hardest thing is to find balance, which has pretty much been my life.
Yeah.
They find it very hard to find balance, and they can be very see, I don't necessarily resonate with Libra, but I have Libra traits, but my moon is Cancer, so that's where the sensitivity comes in, the intuition, the empathic ability. It's all Cancer, and then you've got the Capricorn rising, which Capricorn's very sort of business-like, I would say, but they're a sea goat. So they literally have this underbelly of emotions, which makes sense for my whole personality, is that I've got a lot of emotional underbelly.
You should do a page on star signs for male and female.
Oh my God, Leo, big problem with Leo's sister. Yeah, very feisty. I
My
would
mum's a
not
Leo.
take on a Leo. Yeah, but your mum can be feisty when she wants.
That's what I mean.
I would.
The only emotion my mum's real good at showing is aggression. Like my mum's great, and I love my mum, and we get along great. But yes, that's the only real emotion she's really great at showing is anger.
Yeah. It's that raw,
Other than that,
Leo
she's
raw.
very, other than that, she's very like cool, calm, collected, keeps her feelings to herself, not her ideas or opinions.
That is correct in real life. That is very.
And I accept my mum for being that way, and I love her dearly.
You use triggers and you use.
Yeah, my mum's sort of the same. She's a Saggy, so like Saggies like literally go for your soft spaces,
Jugular.
shoot you right
Yeah,
in
well,
the heart.
your brother's the exact same. Straight
I
in
know.
Yeah, I know.
Straight for the jugular. So
that's why we were arguing.
And I was always the complete opposite.
Because you came to balance them out.
To balance, yeah. That's funny how it does. You should do a page on star signs for males. Like readings? Or, because I'm going to do YouTube again. I'm going to start that all in June. Because I used to do it, but it got quite hectic because creating 12 readings weekly, then 12 monthly, and then all the personal readings in between.
That's a lot.
Readings, love readings. Yeah, it gets a lot because some people just do it professionally. But, I mean, if you're consistent, you actually can make a lot of money on YouTube. And I tried to do it that way, but I couldn't because I was going through a healing journey. I had to do my healing first. So I feel pretty good to go back. Also wanting to start up my the tarot classes as well, and doing some mediumship classes or mentor. I've been asked a couple of times, so I think that's just deciding to come up.
Every single live.
Yeah, because it's more about me managing my time because I have kids, and jobs and chores and tasks that I have to do each and every day. So yeah, it's finding the time.
But that's the one good thing about TikTok, but it sucks because like on your actual videos themselves, unless they're like super, super popular, you can't really like make anything off it, like I'm gonna be honest. And so like you have to do it on YouTube, but YouTube's like not great. Like, because how cool would it be if you could just do per star sign like just a little 1 minute video?
Yeah.
It'd be way, less stressful for you.
Yeah, because they've got reels and everything now. So, I mean, reels are literally like Facebook, TikToks, Instagram, TikToks, and YouTube Shorts. So,
do you mean like
it's
a web page?
That I've had. No, I don't have a web page.
But you could do a series. You could do a series if you wanted of like, like a Leo female traits versus a Leo male trait, so things like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of that already on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I mean, like the general traits, Yeah, for TikTok. Yeah, I get that. They're general traits, though. Not every Leo is going to be how I describe them because there's different deacons as well. So there's Deacon 1 Leo, Deacon 2 Leo, and Deacon 3 Leo. So there's all these different aspects of Leo. So it can get quite complicated with what side of the month they're born on, if they're at the beginning of the month, if they're in the middle of the month, that's usually a true. And if they're on either side, because they'll carry over traits from the star sign before or the star sign following. So, it can get quite complicated for true characteristics and aspects.
No.
But astrology is actually a very strong scientific basis.
Yeah.
But
was
I don't
gonna
know
say
which one to follow because there's the Vedic astrology, which is like the Indonesian, Asian. Then there's the Chinese astrology, and then you've got the Pacific astrology. Pacific.
Well, it's hard because a lot of their astrology, right, is probably also based because they're in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
So
based on their star.
Different.
Yep.
So for them, it might be accurate.
It's slightly different. Like it's.
Well, us in Asia will be closer than like us and like the Americas or something.
The tropic astrology.
Yeah.
Tropical astrology. Yeah. Libras are okay, but they have to find balance as Sims natal. If she's the Libra that I think she is, she may have like just the need to get attention a lot, because don't forget Libras are about communication. So often communicating is her way of expressing. Mine is Leo, Virgo, Gemini, Scorpio, and I am Scorpio. Leo, Virgo, Gemini, Scorpio. Oh, you got a mixed bag in there. So do I, actually. Oh, Capricorn, Aquarius, a Cancer, an Aries. Guess who's the Aries? A Virgo. Two Virgos. Charlotte and Lyrical, and a Taurus.
Yeah,
and I'm a Libra, Scorpio cusp.
Yeah. I was going to say, what do I have? I have, well, Cara's a Leo. Ava's a Aquarius Capricorn cusp. Aurora's a very true Taurus. Everything's on that. Nice.
Yeah, my best friend's actually close to her daughter's birthday, and they are similar traits.
Yes, and they're awesome. I love her too.
I love my Taurus
on the 22nd, so he's a Libra. What's the one before Libra? Virgo Libra cusp, and I'm a Cancer.
Same as Lyrical.
Is a Libra.
Yeah. Body counts 666 said, I love Libras, really good in relationships from my experience. Well, thank you. I believe that too.
I was like,
even though I would.
I surround myself with a lot of Libras. Even my boss is a Libra. His birthday is the day after Bruce's.
Oh. Libras, I reckon when it comes to business and that, communication, they're really good. The downside to Libras, and this is something that I will say, vouch for myself, is that Libras talk a lot of shit about a lot of shit, as I talk shit about a lot of shit. Yes. And that's half of their problem, is that they do a lot of talking as a Libra. But because I'm a Scorpio, I don't do idle chit chat. No, so that's why I like the balance of the Scorpio within me, because it's sort of, I can talk, don't get me wrong, but that's why I'm socially awkward, because sometimes people talk about stuff and I'm just like,
it's not that you're shit talkers. It's not that you're shit talkers. You're just great starters. Libras are great starters.
They're a cardinal sign. They start the party.
Not a very good finisher. Not a very good finisher, but a great starter.
Yep. I'm like that too. I start heaps of great projects.
Yeah. So that's why it seems like they're they talk a bit of shit today, because they're like, yes, I'm going to do this. And they will start. 100% they will start. Yeah.
It's just
they just need someone to help them finish.
Really, really best up will be quite narcissistic. But, general Libra is actually quite fun-loving. They're the social butterflies, great communicators. They try to create balance. They like peace and harmony. They like pretty things. But an unhealed Libra, as I've experienced, can be quite nasty. So it just depends. I'm not saying I'm the ugly Libra.
Yeah. How do you know?
Your natal chart. Yeah. I can put it in the. Can I write comments? How do I write comments here?
Yeah, on natal chart. You can. You got to press comments, and then you can do it online. Yes, Tonya does them online. She did. All of my kids. I don't remember what she said they were, but she's done them.
If I had another phone, but I've only got one phone. Well, I do have another phone, but my kid has my phone. of the phone. I would pull it up for you if you told me,
You need to know.
I don't know if you want to share that.
Do you need
But there's
for your
a free website that you can go on to. That's how I do them, which is, I'm pretty sure it's Astro Cafe,
yes, it was
Cafe
something like that.
Astrology, cafeastrology.com. And all you need is your time of birth and your
So you should do
location,
it.
and your date of birth, your time of birth, and your location. And that's how they can chart. You have to have the time of your birth. So I was lucky because I actually had a picture of me when I was born. On the back it says Sonia Tamati, that's my name, born 9:15 a.m. So I knew that I was born at that time. I was lucky to have that. And so having that just allows you to know what your rising is, because the moon.
Brandon's getting that jump shot.
No, that's your moon. I say the moon actually shifts every 2 days, but the rising actually says what's on the horizon as you're being born. So it's right down to the hour with that.
Yeah, just because Aisha doesn't know the time of her birth because there is no one around alive for her to ask. I've skimmed past a few of the comments. I'm way further down than you.
Oh, sorry. I know. I'm like way behind. Yeah,
you're right.
Cafe Astrology.
Oh, you're a Scorpio. Do you know, I only get along, I'll be honest, I only get along with female Scorpios. Male Scorpios and I tend to clash, or my brother's a Scorpio, and I love him, but yes, I tend to butt head with male Scorpios, and I only get along with female Scorpios, and I know this. Plus, a lot of the male Scorpios I know are narcissistic drug addicts, so...
Gee, let me think about who that reminds me of.
Oh,
yeah, no,
so many. And they
an
all the same.
unhealed Scorpion man, but some Scorpios can be actually very loving. The female Scorpios are usually ride or dies. There's a lot of beautiful traits about Scorpios, but it's the unhealed ones that tend to be assholes. But that's
Those
like that in any star sign. You know, it's not so much the star sign; it's sometimes it is the person itself. Because I feel like sometimes, you know, because I've, you know, like there was this one dude that I dealt with years ago. It wasn't through because of a relationship with me, but a relationship with someone else, and he was a Cancer and he was a narcissist. So you know, it doesn't matter. And Aquarius can be hella narcissist, but it sort of doesn't matter because it's based on that person and how they've been raised. So. But yeah, you tend to understand who you get along with or who you vibe with quite easily when you know what star sign they are. It's like, oh yeah, no, Scorpios, yeah. You know what I mean? Because you know in your interactions that you actually tend to get along with them a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah, I know like a few Scorpio women and they're awesome. And the guy, yeah.
Attention.
But that's not everyone. That's just been my experience. But I also might draw in narcissistic idiots. Not anymore.
Yes. Yeah, see, this my partner. He's jealous and with attention. Yeah.
Oh,
there's
I'm
something
like that.
in him, right?
I'm like that. I get jealous of the game. I'll be honest.
Well, I think that's a female thing because the dudes always want a game, like for hours. And it's like, hello, I just want you to be by me, being bored, doing nothing, but at least, you know, by me.
Oh, yes. It might be just because he's a Cancer
mind.
and we really love hard. And like when we love you, we love you. And we want you to love us in the same deep, intense way.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. Well, I'm a gamer, so I don't mind the gaming side.
Yeah.
That's why I said he should play. He should play in tournaments. He'd make money. He'd make money.
He'd just use an excuse to play even more.
Yeah, but at least he'd be getting money. Like if he's as good as he is, he would probably make a lot of money.
Well, he just really enjoys playing with his... I let him go because this is when a lot of the time he's playing with his brothers or his nephews. They're like, obviously, we don't get to see all that often.
Yeah.
Even though I feel like I hear them every day. But that's okay.
Sorry. I need healing can help. Jazzy's one, what do you need healing with?
I don't know.
I wonder what your moon sign is.
Make emotional for my own good at times.
Maybe Cancer too.
Kia ora. Life.
Scorpios have deep emotions. Kia ora.
Let's look up your birth chart without knowing the time you're born. Okay. Aquarius.
I jumped.
Kia
Yeah, you can still look at
ora.
it. It'll still give you,
Layla
like with the
here,
birth chart,
Aries.
it'll still give you your star sign and your moon.
Mhm.
It may not have your rising, but it can give you all the different aspects of your personality based on what you do have. So you can still look. It's actually a lot of information, and that's also like how I knew that I wouldn't awaken till I was older, until I got to the age of wisdom. So you know what I mean. So it's sort of like when I read that, because I always say, "Oh, why?" And then I knew because I wasn't ready until then, and it's sort of like it was written out on this. And you can do compatibility tests with people that you love as well, reverse star signs. And can you close my door, please? Oh, all right, we're getting ready for bed. It's quiet at your house, Ashley. Are they all in bed?
Because yeah, well, Papa's home early, so every time they get out, all you hear is get back into bed.
We
Plus,
like
Aurora
that.
was
Good on you,
tired.
though.
She was real tired.
Oh,
If you, yeah, because some of it's just body count and I sharing a conversation. But there's someone in
okay.
here, Kia ora, Joseph, and
Aries. Oh, Aries.
Joseph Nomi's mum, Layla here, Aries.
Layla?
That's why I was like, oh, you also have a Layla.
Nice. I have a daughter called Layla who's an Aries as well.
That's why I was like, oh, look, that's very uncanny.
2:20 p.m. Oh, that's when you were born.
When did you have your
Yeah,
Layla?
so you had to go into,
In the middle
if I
of
had
this
my, I
one.
had to remember to do this. I would use my laptop, but my son broke my screen. Not the screen, the light. So I can't really see my screen. Otherwise, I would look up your guys' star charts. But if you go to cafeastrology.com, these are free birth charts. Cafeastrology.com. And all you need is your time of birth, your location of birth, and your date of birth. Oh, welcome, Joseph.
For me, I
This
find
is
it
just
very generous, but
this
need a
is
lot of love
just
and attention.
my chat. I do a Sunday like Q&A with spiritual messages, but if you actually would like a reading, I do Tuesday and Thursdays at 7 p.m.
So,
If you're after a reading. What are unhealed Leo men like? Not good. Lovely. I always like Leo men. Like it's weird how I really like Leos. I think that's a Scorpio in me. But never really had a great outcome with an unhealed Leo because they have a tendency to like attention
yeah.
from everywhere.
Yeah, I think
And
that's
they
what's
usually
trying
have a power and control dynamic. So
But I think
lovely.
really, you're not going
I
to have the
like Leo.
greatest. You're not going to have the greatest end with anyone who's unhealed,
Same
regardless of their
traits
star
as a
sign.
Leo, weirdly enough, with unhealed Scorpios. Most will just have the same tendencies because they become narcissistic. They can be very cruel. Scorpios can be really cruel and harsh because 9 times out of 10, an unhealed Scorpio has a lot of trauma. And because they feel so deeply and intensely, they literally become paranoid. And or like the downside with
Actually,
unhealed Leo men and unhealed Scorpios is that they're very, very bad spaces because they become addicted to substances because they don't want to deal. Both emotional in their own spaces, but they escape through addiction. So that can be really hard. Not all, but majority will have
a
some
lot of
kind of addiction to something,
yeah,
whether it's sex, especially Leos and Scorpios, sex,
yeah.
drugs, or alcohol and other substances.
Really, no matter what you do, it's never like for
And they kind
them.
of
They
get
always
they got a bit of a kink to them, if you can understand what I mean by that. They can have a bit
But
of a kink.
they're always searching for something.
Yeah.
Like it's never good enough. It's never right.
Yeah.
You taking your phone?
Yeah,
Yes, I am.
that's unhealed, and
Mm.
most star
Yes,
signs can be very much like that.
yes.
But Leos are very sexual, and so are Scorpios. I find it very generous.
Mm.
A lot of attention type. Yeah, Leos are lovely. I love Leos, but my interactions never ended well with Leos because they often needed constant attention,
Mm.
which I don't always like
Which
to
is the
give.
opposite of what you are.
Yeah. I like my own space. That's the thing about me. I like
Yes.
to sort of zone out and have my own time. And it's not
You
always
don't
good
recognize what-
when a Leo wants your attention all the time. That's like having a big
Mm.
child, literally. An intelligent, smart, big child.
Oh, isn't that like all men, or is that just me? I just attract dummies. Just kidding.
Could be all big.
I'm gonna end up getting in
We also
trouble.
make a generalization. I'm so sorry. This is just an assumption, but it could be.
Mm.
Scorpio has to
Waiting.
choose to heal themselves. And you would never want to ground a Scorpio because a Scorpio
Mm.
without the Scorpio's permission will become defensive.
If you're
Yeah.
mean winning streak, it'd say
I question if he loves me sometimes.
Oh,
Oh, if
I've
he's
never
getting
been
jealous, he loves you, darling.
number 6.
That's what I'm like anyway.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm-
winning streak.
Yeah, but sometimes is the jealousy
Oh yeah.
what's that
Like
word? Is the jealousy well placed? Like, is
yeah,
it
like
because you're doing those things, or is this person jealous because you're just showing attention to someone else? Because if it's just because you're showing attention to someone else, that's
that's
not always healthy.
unhealthy.
So you just
'Cause
have
it
to
was
be
some-
mindful. It's an
there was some
insecurity.
relationship there. Yeah, I'm not like that. Like I am, but I'm not. Like he can play with the kids, and I don't give a shit.
Oh, I'm like that. When I'm in my unhealed state, if I anything like that, I'd be like,
Yeah,
not
I
even
get like that
joking.
with like
I was
just the
serious.
game.
I
Really,
was
I'm
quite
like,
jealous.
well, if you can spend that much time with the game, why can't you spend that with me?
Yeah,
But I realized
yeah.
that's his way of hanging out with his mates. Where I get that, like, I hang out with my family because they are my mates.
May I have a hand or guidance? Joseph. Okay. Shall I just? Well, I do readings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Today is my spiritual Q&A. So this is where you ask questions and I kind of just try. This is my cousin up here, my lovely cousin Ashley, and we just sort of try and give some kind of guidance. So if you have a question you'd like to ask, other than that, I could try and cold read you, but I don't know how well it will be because I haven't really done all my grounding spaces that I usually do before I enter a live. And the
You did
last
not
lady I
prepare
did tonight,
today.
she cried. No, yeah.
But I think she
Usually I
cried
prepare my
because
body.
she needed that confirmation, you know.
Yeah, that was. But hers came in really, really easy. Well, when I just sort of like sat still and listened to her energy, that's what they showed me was like a child. That was so nice. And I got really
Yeah,
emotional with that too.
I
So,
know.
yeah,
It
that's why I was
was
like,
nice
oh,
though.
hang on, I
But
haven't
obviously
created my
it was cool.
boundaries.
It was cool when she said, oh, it's because she's been missing her parents. Because obviously you look at Nan and Papa like they were your parents, and that
Yeah,
explains that
yeah,
way
that's
of
great,
needing to
man.
explain that connection. It was nice.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just had that
cool.
memory, me and my
Yeah.
grandfather.
Cool. I've been into readings a lot since I was a young child. I'm with a Gemini. My best friend also, she is, I swear,
It's
I,
really
I
nice.
am adamant we were twins in a previous life. I'm like identical twins. I swear.
Oh, Shani,
Yeah, she's a Gemini.
she's a Gemini.
Yeah. And so
Oh,
is my
really?
brother.
Since
My
a young
brother's a Gemini.
child. I'm a Gemini. Geminis are quite good
How about
communicators. That's
unhealed
the E
Gemini?
side. Well, actually, it's weird because I reckon that Shani has a Gemini sun sign, but I reckon she's Aquarius because she struggles with her emotional space.
Yes.
Communicating.
Well, no, but that's part
Sorry,
of, that's
Shani.
that
Sorry.
twin thing. So for the people that she loves, it's very clear. It's
Yeah,
very
yeah,
clear.
yeah.
But she can also be very cold and very direct, very
That's
withdrawn from
Aquarius.
some people, and she doesn't give a shit. But it's
That's the
it's that
age.
twin thing as well.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh,
It,
that's awesome.
his
If you
Raven's the
come in
same.
for a reading on Tuesday and Thursday, and just say, "Hey, it's me, Joseph." Ashley will put you on the
Yeah.
list. Yep,
Yes.
that's true. How about
Mhm.
an unhealed Gemini? Well, speaking from experience, an unhealed Gemini can be very egotistical about everything. It's sort of
I feel like everybody has a large ego and a bit narcissistic.
they can be very much like that. I don't think they actually mean to be like that because Gemini energy is a lot.
Mm.
They have a lot of energy because they're like quite they're like communicating, but they have action. They action it as well. So they can have a very strong life force. So it just depends on what the trauma is, really. The unhealed version of them will exist, but a lot of that can be quite ego based. It's hard because I feel like it would be how to express that would be because a Gemini, in some respects, likes to be seen and likes to be seen and likes to communicate and express themselves in a very hip vibe. So an unhealed version of that would
Yes.
be a lot more distortion. So they'd still be very hip or maybe a little bit eccentric and probably very attention seeking. But the thing is, when people are attention seeking, they are connection seeking. And that's very much what a Gemini unhealed would be like, constantly seeking for connection, um, or belonging, or feeling like they are in a space where they can express themselves over and over and over. But it just depends where the mindset is on how they actually physically express that to other people. So yeah, I think that makes sense. Oh yeah, me too. Me too. I have a friend on here called Presence. Oh, Present Healing Grace. Present Healing Grace. She actually always contacts me when we have and we have little chats about astrology and how she always likes to ask me how the energy is feeling because we're the same age, and so our birth charts are similar, but there are different variations because she's born on a different time. She's a Scorpio. I'm a Libra. But a lot of our stuff is very similar. So she always likes to ask me how the energy is affecting me. So I always get a lot of tips from her. So present grace healing, not present healing grace. Gosh,
Write
I'll
one,
take
and
it.
if it's wrong, then write the other one in.
Yes, sorry, but she's lovely. Oh,
Jeez, I
hopefully
think
I
my
answered your
partner would be.
question, Joseph. Geez, I think my partner Leo, because that sounds like him, not like a kid. So
You
I
might
think
have a
it's the
Leo with
unhealed
me.
faces. Yeah,
Mm.
because cancers can often have a Leo moon or a Leo rising or a Leo Venus, like things like that all can affect their personalities. But a lot of that, like for me, like a Scorpio is naturally jealous and possessive.
Yeah.
And so too can be many star signs. Like we can all have those traits, but a lot of that can be the unhealed insecurities. So I had an ex-partner that was super jealous of anything like that, and I couldn't even breathe sometimes. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of that is because he was insecure about himself. So I don't necessarily think it's got anything to do with you. I think that is literally a projection of his own insecurities. And he probably just needs some healing for that, but it's hard unless he's aware of it to actually be able to bring that forward for him. But yeah, it can be really difficult. My ex-husband is Capricorn. I have never seen such most Capricorns. Oh, an unhealed Capricorn, very ego-based, very toxic, addiction-based as well. Because if you think about it, the Capricorn card is actually the devil card.
Yeah, well, body count said body count said Capricorn men are the worst unhealed. They're ruled by the devil and the tarot for a reason.
Yeah, temptation, addictions, like they can be very sadistic. They're more of the darker side of negativity. And I understand that too because I'm a Capricorn rising. That when I was in darkness, I wasn't so much like that, but
But driving.
we had very deep, dark spaces.
Oh, join in, Malcolm. You can join in as a Scorpio man. I was on.
Yeah, sorry if it contradicts anything that you feel free to. I mean, this is an open discussion, so I'm quite interested in hearing what you have to say.
I was going to say, unfortunately, all the experiences I have dealt with Scorpio men were negative, but they are unhealed Scorpio men. I'm going to be very clear about that.
I love a Scorpio man.
One of them.
Lovely. Yep, see, the body count knows.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to show you the devil card. Actually, it's weird. I was still looking through the tarot before I saw your answer. But, it also talks about being bound to things. So if they don't have healing, they become very bound to things that are quite negative. So tarot actually is about astrology, by the way. Tarot is astrology based.
Get my hands.
So the star is Aquarius. The Lovers is Gemini.
Oh, yeah.
Death and Rebirth is Scorpio.
What's
the cards are ruled. Cancer. This is Virgo with the Empress. Cancer is the Chariot. The Sun is Leo. Not sure. The Moon is Cancer too, as well. The Moon.
Yes. That feels
Cancer's ruled by the Moon. That's why. Cancer's at home with the Moon.
In the water, or is she a mermaid? Or
no, she's floating in the water. The moon is about confusion and illusion. So it's like, the moon can cause, because it's a different type of light. So with this particular card, it's about deep emotions, feeling a little bit confused about how you feel about things. So, because the devil card's probably going to be the last one. Leo. The World card, I think that's Sagittarius. I'm not too sure. I don't know if that's actually it's gone. My mind's gone blank. The High Priestess is Pisces.
Do we know?
Anyone know what the World card? Auntie Rose, Pisces.
Oh yeah.
The Fool is Aries. Okay, well, where is the Devil? The Magician, also Aries. The Devil card. Oh. See that? It's got that glittery hair, shiny, love me, but deep down inside they messed up. They got stuff wrong with them. The inner person, see? But that's a sign of manipulation as well. So yeah, the devil card with Capricorns. So I know that's tough too. I would love to get it.
That's not good, Natasha.
Oh, Malcolm's driving. Oh, okay, Malcolm.
Yeah, that was Malcolm. Yeah, that was what I read before.
Not a good jealous, not really. That really helped me. Okay, to play. I'm waiting for Tuesday. Yeah, sorry, Joseph.
Yeah.
Honestly,
7-ish p.m. 7-ish p.m. on Tuesday. As soon as you see me, remind me, because my memory's not.
I'll remember.
But relax. Okay.
Same birthday as my oldest brother, Virgo, 2 peas in a pod. I actually really like Virgos. Virgos, though, are well known for being serial killers. Sorry, I just didn't bring that up. I always say that about Virgos. Oh, did you know that most serial killers are Virgos?
Virgo.
Which makes sense because
Oh,
they kind of,
oh
they
no,
love, they're
Sims
actually
Nader.
really hard with each other. Eh?
Sims Nader goes, dealing with a Virgo and confused. Oh no.
No, sorry, I didn't even read
What's
that.
that?
I'm coming down, but
She's
that's
probably
not me.
joking.
Yeah,
But that's not me. Gemini's are the
Gemini.
craziest out of pocket.
They have a lot of energy.
Yeah.
They have a lot of energy.
But I like lots of energy, so I think that's why me and
Okay,
Shani get along well.
I'm going to do Joseph a quick reading. Are you still here,
Yeah.
Joseph?
Is Aries, Gemini. Is a Aries Gemini a good connection? You pretty much hit it on the head about the unhealed Gemini.
It's just here's the thing about Aries and Gemini. They're both going to be wanting attention. If they can, here's the thing about any star connection. Even though you have compatibility with certain stars, if you're both willing to compromise or not compromise yourself, but compromise with each other, which is embracing each other's differences and learning each other's love language, every combination can be a good combination. It just
Yeah, that was
depends on the
Joseph.
person and the healing. So
Yeah, that was
Aries,
from
Gemini,
Joseph.
I would say, Aries and a Gemini would be a lot of energy, like a lot. Like if you want to go to a party, those are the two you want to go with. You got the Aries, but the downside to Aries is when they drink too much, they're going to get a little bit angry.
Right.
It depends where the healing's at.
Before you do your reading, I'll quickly flick through the next bits of messages, and then do your reading, so then we're caught
Okay.
up. All right. So
All right.
Sarah
Quickly,
says,
Joseph.
Sarah says, I'm a Cancer with my house on my back, walking sideways, nipping when need to. Me too, love. Me too. Hope Lily Stargazer said both her parents are unhealed Capricorns. Oh, and then Body Count was just
That's
saying
going to
that,
be tough.
That's got to be hard to deal with, and that's worse than her toxic Virgo parents. Fam's up says hi, and she said, "What about Gemini's?" And then she was like, "Oh, where can I get that energy? Because that must have been when you were saying, Gemini's have a lot of energy."
They can. It depends on what your
Yeah.
moon and or your rising is with that Gemini. So if you're more
And
passive Gemini, because that reminds me of Shani, right? She's a
yeah,
passive Gemini.
yeah.
There could be like an Aquarius moon or rising that sort of slows you down. I want to say that because Aquariuses are great communicators, but also they're very
Because her and
bad at
Roman,
forward
their birthday
communicating.
is a day apart. Her and Roman.
Really?
Yeah. She's on the 20th and he's on the 20th. No, he's on the 20th, she's on the 21st.
Yeah, same as Uncle Dave's. He's a great communicator. But
Loves to communicate.
Roman's the opposite.
Not now.
So
Not now.
oh,
I can't get shut up.
yeah. Oh, he must be gone.
No, they're here. Joseph.
Okay, cool. Okay, sweet.
Yeah,
Because this is usually not my reading time.
Naomi's
So
mum.
since you've been so nice and patient, I will pull a couple of cards for you.
I'm on the 15th and the hubby's the 18th of June. All right.
Just listen that cast.
Yeah.
Let's see what comes forward. So I felt a little bit heaviness on my shoulders. I don't know if you're carrying a lot of weight or not weight, like weight, as in carrying a lot of burdens on you at this time or being fully responsible for too many things. Feels like a lot on this side too. I don't know what it is, but it could be pertaining to the feminine side and or your feminine based side family, like mother's side. Taking on a lot of responsibilities at this time. I also feel like it's weird, but I see a lot of red in your energy. Red can often pertain to the root chakra. It can, I don't know if it's you're needing to realign that space or reconnect to the earth or find a lot more time for grounding down. But it feels like it's just been like through a very, I want to say heavy period at this time. Not period. I don't know why that sounded like that. But like a heavy time period, which would make sense. Everybody's been sort of going through that stuff. So I just see a lot of red. It's weird. It's almost like I see flickerings of red everywhere. Red can often refer to passion as well, but I feel like it's more about your root chakra, which often can refer to your ancestral space. This may be clearing a pattern within your family line, and they're talking about being resourceful. You need to be a lot more resourceful, or you are quite resourceful with what you've got or what you have as well. They are also saying, because this is something that's been coming in all week, it is a time for change for you. So I feel like it's connecting more into the earth and getting grounded and or ancestral healing. So there's multiple themes going on in your energy, but they are referring to the chakra. Oh, yeah. Okay. I don't know why I want to say this, but I feel like you may have thought that you were cursed. I don't know why it came out that way, but it's sort of like I keep manifesting all this sort of pain and heartache. But here we have the Magician with the Three of Swords. Come out, they flew out, okay? And underneath is the Chariot in reverse. And it's weird enough, but what they showed me was this. So when I saw this particular message that I channeled earlier, it was the image of the Chariot was in reverse that I saw. So it says this: don't despair if things don't go to plan. Believe there are bigger things at play in your life. And what that means is that things may not be working out how they are supposed to for you. And it may be, I don't know why I said you feel like you're cursed, but I feel like you feel like there's a lot going on that hasn't been right for you. But the thing is, you have to believe in the bigger divine genius of the universe to help you through something bigger that's going to come out or going to align in your energy. But what I see with your energy is this, the red of this heart here, the Three of Swords. So I feel like, yep, it's both, yep. I feel like that's been like every time I try to bring in a new cycle or every time I try to create some kind of good intention out there in the world, who's speaking out? Sorry, bro, I'm ready. Go to sleep. I'm going to have some when I finished. But I feel like it's sort of like every time I try to bring something forward here with the Magician, every time I feel strong, I keep getting hit. I keep taking a hit. You know what I mean? I keep getting hurt. I feel like I'm cursed because I try to, I keep manifesting this. There must be something wrong with me, but it's not. Here it is with the Chariot in reverse. This is the reason why. This is a card that says many things, but for me, I don't read tarot the same way. For me, it's about there are a lot of, to build the Chariot, there are a lot of components that have to go together for this to happen, for the Chariot to move forward, to be victorious and things like that. So when it's in reverse, it talks about a delay for me. So all these components are not yet in alignment. So there's a thing here. Spiritual awakening is a space or a place of expansion. With each step forward you take, the universe walks with you. So it's sort of like understanding that even though things aren't working out, the universe, despite what it may look like as going backwards or being delayed, the universe is still trying to create things for you. And it's like understanding that this message is for you. This message that I channeled, isn't it weird? A life review. How you treat someone matters, but how you treat yourself matters. and how you see yourself and treat yourself matters. And it's sort of like understanding that even though things may not look like they're going to work out, something bigger is at play for you at this time. And it's sort of like you have to go through. I feel like there's been a lot of life lessons that you actually have to heal to close these chapters off so that you're not manifesting heartache or heartbreak and loss, and that you're actually manifesting something more powerful. But that's, you've got to work with the universe. So you may have been working with energies, or I'm not saying working with energies, but manifesting energies in the physical realm, wanting things, maybe when it comes to love, relationships. The heart pertains to many things, or wanting to manifest something that matters, that connects to you, but often finding it falling short here with the Chariot in reverse, because they weren't meant to stay with you. They were only meant to teach you. And in the end, when it's time, the universe will turn this Chariot upright. But the thing is, there has to be a balance. You see that? The horses, the chariot, we got to build it. The universe is the driver. So there's a lot of things that have to come into alignment for you. But your main energy right now is the Three of Swords. So that says it is time to get into a healing space. It is time to heal that pain. It is time to let go of your pain and suffering and allow yourself to move forward. You know what I mean? Allow yourself to move forward, knowing that you can manifest exactly what you want. You can manifest exactly what you want, and you can have it. That's a cool thing about all of this spiritual healing and stuff, is it's just to tell us that, you know what, we belong here, we deserve to be here, and we deserve to have the life that we want. Because all this society, everything's been telling us we have to earn it. But just coming here and being born and being alive, we actually earn the right to have it here and now. So yeah, I just, hopefully that makes sense for you. I've been carrying a lot, and it's just time to release yourself from this pain and suffering, because it feels like that's not really in your life to stay. It's been brought in, because here you have the two energies, right, that are really the energies that want to move and move you forward. Here with the infinity sign, which is about cycles, energy flow, about that momentum going forward. Even though it's in reverse, there is a delay, but it's learning to let go of the pain to be able to move forward. You know what I mean? So hopefully that made sense for you. Nice and short, quick little reading. Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, because earlier she said that's exactly what had been happening. I missed the bit towards the end, but I got the heart of it.
I'll probably post this on YouTube in a couple of days. Once I get time, I have to put up Thursday's one, so you may be able to catch it again on YouTube once I post it up. So that link is in my bio. But yeah, come and visit me on Tuesday.
You found her now.
I just read tarot my way. I read it from the space of your soul and communicate in that space, because sometimes I can talk about, a man coming in, a woman coming in, that kind of stuff. But that's very basic of what tarot can do. So it's sort of like understanding that when you speak from the soul, you get told what you need to move forward in these situations.
Oh. I think that's great. Does my healing journey include me leaving my husband and starting a new life? Do you feel like to heal yourself, that's what you need to do?
Yeah. I mean, that comes down to you. A healing journey is what you're drawn to do to heal. So if you already had the thoughts of leaving your husband, then that isn't your healing journey. That's you saying, like, I'm not happy.
Yeah.
If you're not happy, try and fix it. If you can't fix it, I always say this because I hate families breaking up. Try to fix it. Try to make peace with it. Try to heal whatever it is that's not working with your husband, and give a time frame. Look, I'm going to give this amount of time for us to fix this. And if in that time frame, it doesn't get healed, then allow yourself to step away and say, well, at least I tried. Because sometimes we get the thought and it could get healed, but we get the thought and we just go. And then we have these shoulda, coulda, wouldas later on, does my ex think about me? Because I've run away because shit got hard. But real love is work.
Yep.
Especially in a relationship. It's not fun. You have rough
No.
patches. And real love with people that you really, really love, you choose to stay through thick and thin. That is marriage. But I don't judge. If you want to leave your husband because you feel drawn to doing that, you do what's best for you. Okay? But for me, when it comes to families, I think give it a chance, try and work it out first before getting these thoughts of leaving. Express it. I am unhappy. I need this help. I need you to help me. Are you going to help me? And let's try it. And if it doesn't work, then you're free to leave without guilt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're free to leave without that guilt or that shame that goes with it, because at least you tried.
There must be
You know?
something in the air, because the next comment goes from someone else. Do you think when you're dreaming of always looking for your partner, but he's not there, it's time to move on? That sounds a bit like your subconscious trying to talk to you, my dear.
Hard on Tuesday. Yeah. If you have doubts, there's a reason why you have doubts. Because I know for a fact, if someone really loves you, you know it. You feel it. Because they tell you, they show you, and they, it's sort of like, I don't know how else to express it. You just feel safe with the energy. But if you feel like there's a lack, there's a reason why there's a lack, because there is a lack. And it's sort of like you can choose to work it out, right? But if you're dreaming about that, there can be a lot about your actual thoughts coming forward from your subconscious mind, wanting to be heard. Like I talk a lot about suppressed feelings and emotions, that sometimes we process that during our sleep. And that could be an issue. So if if you're not happy, try to fix it. And if you can't fix it, then it's your choice to choose how you respond to that. I'm not going to tell anyone to leave their husband unless they're toxic, beating you up, things like that. Don't stay. But if they're just like got personality glitches, or, we discussed jealousy, like that can be very toxic for you. But is it fixable?
And
Can you
only you
fix it?
know, because you know this person. We don't know this person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it fixable? Can I fix this? Can I be happy with that? Really asking yourself the big questions, because, you already know the answers,
Yeah.
That's the truth. I think there's a space where you have to actually have those difficult conversations with people, especially when it comes to your relationships, because they determine your energy each and every day. And if it becomes a toxic and negative space, that's no good for anybody, especially for you.
No.
Yeah, Tuesday I'll be doing tarot, and I've just decided to mix cards with intuitive. So I do tarot on Tuesday and oracle cards on Thursday. Sometimes, 'cause sometimes I just like the comfort of the cards, even though
Plus, it
necessarily I wouldn't
speeds it
read
up a
them.
little bit. We can get a little bit more people in.
Oh, thank you, Joseph, Naomi's mum.
Hi, Bambi. There was no
Thank you for
list today,
staying.
but
I
come
appreciate
in on Tuesday. Haven't seen you in a little bit.
it. Feel I'm staying in where it's breaking me. Oh, I have given almost 30 years. I think if it's breaking you, that's no good.
Mm.
You know what I mean? 30 years is a long time for it to be breaking you. Like 30 years, you should be enjoying each other's company, getting old together. But 30 years and feelings like that, I don't know if that I would have stayed that long. I don't know, because I don't know your guys' relationship and or what your partner's like. But I would say if it's not good, this is a good space to approach it, and maybe what counselling, if that's not enough for you, if that doesn't even, what if you want to leave, I think you have to be brave enough to leave. Have a plan, make a plan, and take action. Okay. Yes, express. Hi, baby. Yes, that's my question. I've learned to express how I feel, which me and my partner
But no,
and that's awesome. Yes, that sounds right. He supports me, but no emotional connection. Oh.
maybe you
And
have
you know
different
what?
love languages.
It's not that. It's more like as women get older, and this is the things that I've noticed, intimacy changes and how we connect with our partners change. So at the beginning it can be very physical. But as we get older, or at least with my thing, it becomes more about intimacy in ways that are more like common ways of sharing time and energy. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? You know what I mean? It's sort of like not necessarily just sex anymore. Now it's something bigger. What interests me, what stimulates my mind, what makes me feel things. Because when you're on, you just want to feel again, like you want to have those
Yeah.
feelings. But it's like that. And I've seen that also with my friends as they got older and they've got long-term relationships that they've felt very unstimulated by their partners emotionally. You need to go to sleep, bro.
You got Kuda in the morning, dear. You know, it's hard
I
because, like, obviously, we're still quite young.
yeah.
We've only been married for like 3 years, so it's a little bit different.
Well, supporting you is great, but I mean, do you need that support or do you want emotional connection? I mean, that's what it comes down to. What matters most to you? Because you could spend 30 years with someone and have great support but no emotional connection, and then spend 2 years with someone and feel all that love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's basically up to you.
Oh, we would
That's
keep it
how I want
inside.
people to be. Yeah, divorce is not easy, but I had to. I'm healing, and it's not easy, but it's worth it.
And that's it. You made the decision that was perfect for you. And now you feel like you're where you're meant to be and you're on the journey you're meant to be on.
Yeah, but sometimes people are here to teach us lessons, and those may be harsh lessons. But
Oh,
when it's over, it's over. You know, that's the thing. And I was like that too. 12 years. I was miserable for 12 years. But it was like I found it very hard to leave. Even struggled with that part. But once I decided to leave, even though I did struggle with well, I was sad and lonely, and I knew him, and he was familiar. It was like that back and forth for years. But then when I decided that was it, no more,
yeah.
that was it, no more. And it's
And
sort of like,
I was going to say,
oh, excuse
and
me,
in that,
sorry.
even in that, watching Sonia do that meant when I was in a toxic relationship, I didn't have to be in it for 12 years. I was only in it for 2 years, and I just left. Well, when things turned real
Because
shit,
who
I
wants to
left
go
because
through that shit?
and that's it.
Hey,
Because it was
who wants
hard
to
to
go
watch
through that?
someone you love go through that,
Mm,
and then
yeah,
I saw myself going through that, and I didn't want my family looking at me, watching them having to watch me go through it as well. You
yeah,
know?
that's right. Yep, it's the same.
So,
It's like a choice. You just
mm.
once you've had enough, you've had enough. Make the right choice for you. I would say we're
Oh,
like brother
Jasmine,
and
that's a little
sister.
bit sad.
Well,
Mm.
best friends.
Best friends?
Best friends are good.
Is it because you
Brother
have
and
just got into
sister.
a form of comfort? Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you're just so comfort that, after if you've had children, you've had children, like you've been so focused on your lives getting up to this point that you kind of forgot how to connect with each other because you've been so
yeah,
focused on working, how the house, your family. Because that's very common
yeah. And people
in
get very
marriages
bored
that have been,
of each
yeah,
other.
because you've forgotten how to be a couple. How do I start my
What's
hair?
the commonality? Say what stimulates you, what makes you feel like a woman. You know, like that's a lot about where what it gets like when you get older is that you just want to feel like a woman. You know, and not necessarily getting groped, though that's always fun. I wouldn't know these days, but it would be fun. And it's sort of like, like, but it's like, what else? Let's go. do something that makes me feel good, like let's go for a hike, let's go for a bike ride, let's go for ice cream, like let's go watch a movie, like
Something
remembering to
spontaneous.
take time out. Yeah, but also taking time out for each other. How do I start my healing journey? When my kid's dad just comes whenever he feels like, I know what that feels like. You just keep doing you.
Yeah.
You just keep doing
Don't
you.
worry about
So
their
my
dad.
kid is like that too. Yeah, I don't. My kid's dad is like that too. And I don't want to talk shit about him on the internet, but he's pretty shy at consistency. So I just do me. And, it's funny because I remember one time I was meditating in the backyard at my old house, and I decided to lie down on the grass and literally lie down on the grass. And I was doing like a grass angel. I had my arms out, my legs out, and I was just like that with my eyes closed. And I just didn't think about it because I was just meditating. And sometimes I like to completely have my whole body touch the ground. It was just something that I was doing at that time. And I was like really deep in meditation. And then someone comes up to me, starts grabbing me and shaking me and asking if I'm okay, if I'm alive. And that was my ex-partner coming in because he thought I'd had a heart attack and passed out on the ground. And he goes, "What are you doing?" I'm going, "Leave me alone, man. I'm meditating."
I'm just living my best life without you. Go away. I'm sorry I laughed, but I could see it happening.
Yeah, because he thought I'd passed out on the grass, but actually I was actually meditating. And so, like, I just do me. I don't worry about what he's up to because, it depends if you're in a relationship. But
Yeah,
if you're in separation, you just got to focus on getting yourself right. And that's the main focus. And they do come in and they do destroy your peace and they do what they do.
but you just keeping on. Just don't worry
But it's
about
your
them.
choice on how you respond to it, right?
Yeah.
Then I say that it's your choice on how you respond to it. So choose wisely how you respond and act to those situations. If you want to keep your peace, keep your peace. Don't let them take it. If you want to go all out balls to the walls, go all out balls to the walls. Like it's do what you do to express to make it healthier for you, as long as it's healthier for you. Okay.
I just act like my daughter's dad's a joke because I'm bitter.
Well,
It's
you've got to be
difficult dealing
reasons
with my young
to
brother. I'm coming on Tuesday then, Bambi. Coming on Tuesday and I'll chuck you on. Alright? Alright, my girl?
Yeah, that's right. There you go. Thank you. Perfect advice there, boundaries.
Yeah.
That's actually something that you need to start doing when it comes to that. So I had to set up the boundary. So I tried to be quite cordial with my ex and, like trying to be the friend instead of the partner. And I tried to be kind and gracious in that. And I found that every time I would be kind and gracious, he would take the advantage of that space. And so I had to learn to actually be mean and withdraw my energy so that he got the hint that our time is over. And I've actually expressed many times it's over, but it doesn't kick in until you actually physically distance yourself and emotionally distance yourself from them.
Even then. I'm married,
but that's okay,
and my daughter's
now
dad still sends me very strange messages.
It's strange.
But he understands, but he lives in a different town, and I only have to deal with him via message. And so I just ignore them.
Lucky you. I wish I had that option.
Yes.
Sorry.
I really would love to be with him to the end, but I feel like it's not fair for me. He's not bored. He's not bored that he's not bothered that there's I'm just down. I've scrolled through a couple, sorry.
I really would like to be with him to the end, but it feels like it's not fair for me. Then that's the truth, isn't it? That's the truth.
Yeah, it just sounds like he's in that comfy phase and he likes it.
He's gotten comfortable doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Which, like I said, as a woman gets older, she needs stimulation in other ways. So I just feel like you've already said right there, it's not fair for me. So you may have already made this.
You.
Oh.
I would express that that's what I need, and if he's not going to give it to me, well, I'll go get it somewhere else. But that's because I'm younger and I was a
Vivacious.
slut. I used to be a slut.
I'm the opposite. I became a prude. I just couldn't.
Mm.
I've never actually found it easy to just go out and fall in love. But
No,
weirdly enough, I've had
not
people
love.
come across my path where because I'm a sapiosexual, so I have to have a connection with someone, an emotional connection, before I want to give my body.
I wish I had been
That's
like
how I've
that.
been in my relationships.
I wish I'd been like that.
Yeah,
I'm the opposite. I don't care. I don't care.
yeah.
If I don't love you, then it
But I
meant
wish I
nothing.
was like that. I actually wish that I
Yeah.
could just go, fuck the world and do
Yeah.
my thing. But I was always,
Yeah.
I feel like that's the Capricorn in me, like this very strong structure. But in the same respect, like I like how I am because it allows me to sort of,
Yeah.
like, I don't have the stress, like,
And that's okay being
of
selective.
relationships.
That's what I mean. I wish I
Yes,
was more
I mean,
selective.
well, my last selection wasn't so great. So,
Yeah. That's because that was for a
oh, sorry,
long
guys, I'm just
time.
dropping one of
That's
the bombs
different.
here.
That was for a very long time. And
Yeah,
that was,
yeah, yeah.
you were young. You were young. You didn't know any
Yeah, all my
different.
years gone.
Yeah.
Um, but
But now you're
yeah,
better
it's
than
sort of like
ever.
it allows me to. Yeah, I've got someone I care about a lot. But it's sort of like I still have freedom to be me and
Yeah.
do my thing. So I like that because I've never really had that before. Where I was just, except when I was like, 18, 19, but then I was always drunk because it was like I worked and then I partied. But that's the old me, right? So this version of me is a lot more healed, and so I'm quite content to have time on my own. I like it,
Mm. Yeah.
like that space.
I
And
like
so
being
it's
on
just
my
been,
own.
I get a lot of alone time, and at first I used to feel lonely, very alone. So often, I would revert, but sort of like in healing that space, being alone isn't a lonely
Yeah.
experience.
But
But
that's
that's
also because
taken
you
me a
came
while to
from
master.
a
Yeah,
relationship for a very long time where you got like a lot of attention, but not always the right
not the
attention.
attention I wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I'm
sort of like,
from
it just took me a while to get over it. Or
I'm from a family of toxic marriage and relationships, and I had to break that curse for my kids. And good on you, Sims
yes,
Nada.
yeah,
Good
that's the
on you.
one.
I
That's
didn't
the
have
one.
a fear of breaking up with anyone really because I had a really good, like, I'm be honest, I had a really amazing stepdad. So,
Yeah,
and I knew that I could find. I knew what I was looking for in regards to. I know that there's men
you
out
have a good
there.
dad too.
Yeah, I have an amazing dad. That's what I mean. I had two dads, and I
Mm,
knew that there's men out there that
so
could
good.
fill that shitty dad void that some dads leave.
Yeah.
And I got that. My
Well,
daughter
I'm
thinks
the
she has
same
two
thing.
dads.
I'm the same thing.
Mm.
Sims natal. I had the toxic, not marriage, but toxic
Mhm.
relationships and cursing, breaking the curse or breaking the cycle um, with my children so that hopefully they have healthier relationships moving forward. Um, my childhood, we suffered a lot of abuse, childhood abuse, like domestic violence and the such, that goes along with that. And so when I went into my first proper relationship, I went into an abusive relationship. Well, it didn't start out abusive, but it wasn't like if I look back at the beginning, there were signs right at the beginning. But because I had become pregnant and was in love with this person, at least what I thought love was, because I realize now that's nothing like what love actually feels like to me now. Um, that even though despite what my family would try to say to me, I wasn't going to hear it at all until we would have domestic violent domestics. And then I'd have to run home with my tail between my legs. And each time I had a different child, having to carry them as well to my mum's. So it's sort of like I had like that whole, but we suffered quite badly with that as children with my mum's relationship, her marriage. And so when I sort of hopefully have put in enough guidance for my children so that when they have relationships, they're looking for the right traits and or won't tolerate that kind of behavior. I won't ever try to control them or say, like I will always just try to be supportive to them. But hopefully I've done enough to break that curse for my children. Yeah.
If you leave as an unhealed person, you will repeat the same relationship unless you heal. Yes and no. Yes and no. I found healing later, but I was happy being single. Once I was happy by myself. That's all, because I used to be one of the people who didn't like being alone ever. I hated being alone.
Yes.
Yes.
True statement.
Yes. I've always hated being on my own. Like even now, I still, like once I had my daughter, honestly, I didn't care. I didn't care if I didn't have a man. I was quite happy because I was never really alone, you know? But now I really enjoyed it. And once I learned that I could be by myself and it was okay, it's fine. I actually felt like I was giving up my freedom for my now husband.
The good life.
I loved it. Like I loved that, if I wanted to, me and he could just pack up and go wherever we wanted. But
yeah, that is a good. So I have that now, but I don't go anywhere.
I didn't realize I had as much trauma as I had until I was with my husband and we'd go through certain situations and realizing, oh, this isn't a normal reaction to something so small. And it was working through it with him that I actually fixed a lot of it. So I didn't know it was
he's
a problem.
Soulmates, they come to help. Soulmates come to help, right?
Yeah, well, hopefully it's not one that leaves me.
Well,
I feel
each
like
of
he's
us have
going to
a
leave me.
dysfunction.
No, it's like I feel like he'll leave me because he'll clog his arteries with salt. That sounds weird, but I'm glad you guys laugh. I really, really try to just give everybody along. I'm just going through the laughing faces.
Yeah.
I think that
just like I said, if you leave as an unhealed person, you will repeat the same relationship unless you heal for some. They'll just go through the same types of relationships, and even though each relationship is different, you may find that it's the same. It goes the same pattern because it's your space to break that cycle.
I've been trying to keep
the boundaries. Yep, that's a good one.
We've been in a relationship, but I'm trying to keep. Oh, okay.
Yeah, keep your boundaries, healthy boundaries. Boundaries are actually really, really healthy when it comes to I won't tolerate this shit, so don't bring this shit to my door because I won't tolerate it, and it just sets that line. So they'll either learn to behave and change their behavior, but if they keep repeating the same behavior, they don't respect your boundaries. Okay.
If you're just doing it for the kids,
sorry.
Yeah, if you want, so I've scrolled down because everyone's just saying lol and how we're funny. Because yes,
okay,
I'm just kidding. I'll try again for the kids. But if you just because your kids love him doesn't mean you have to be in a relationship with him.
I tried for my kids to be as miserable as hell.
Yeah, if you're miserable, if you're not happy, and I'm an avid believer of this. If you're genuinely not happy, then don't stay. Because your kids are better off with a happy, healthy mum than a struggling, upset, depressed mum. And that's it. Sure. You know?
Yep. A healthier, happier mum is better than a miserable, sad mum. Or a good mum one day and a sad mum the next day. Yeah. It's consistency for children.
You know, as mums, you always go into autopilot. Like, even when you're depressed, you feel like shit, whatever, you're sick as hell, you just do what you got to do because they can't do it. They depend on you to do it, so you just do it. But it really makes a difference between like whether you're present with them, interacting, being happy, because what you're also
Present.
showing them, what you're showing them is like, oh,
Leo.
you can stay in a relationship even if you're miserable, and that's not what you want for
Yeah.
your children. So that you shouldn't also expect that of yourself. But that's my own personal opinion. And that.
Yeah. Thanks, Ash.
I
Appreciate that.
give it a lot of relationship advice. 'Cause I'm so experienced.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. I was just a
I'm not
slut.
really experienced.
I'm just slept around a lot.
I mean, I had fun in my younger days. Like, I had a lot of fun, but I just as I got older, I became so serious when it came
Yeah.
to that space. I think I was
But
just super guarded emotionally
yeah.
unless I loved somebody.
And that's normal. That's normal. I was the opposite because I found a lot of gratification from having other people's company, and I found a lot of some people like cigarettes and alcohol and drugs, and that was my thing. But I'm better now. I'm married now, so
Oh
it's
yeah,
okay.
I liked all of that, all except cigarettes. Yuck! I don't
Oh,
smoke,
yeah,
but if
I
you
don't
smoke,
want
it's
to.
okay. I don't judge.
Yeah, you can do
I
what
liked
you
all
like
that
with
stuff
your.
too. I loved all that. I
No,
mean,
but
when I could, I partied hard. I mean,
but that
Ashley
was
was only
my
like
advice.
a teenager. How old were you when I had Rashadi?
I was not even a teen. I was like, I
What?
must have been like 9. How old is she now? 21? 9. Because our mum and dad had just broken up,
No.
and yous were at Nuffield, and Nan was still alive. Nan died when I was 12,
Nan died
so I
when
was 9.
Tasman was 6 months. No, 9 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Joanna, 18 years.
Yeah, well, because Shadi just turned 21 and I turned 30. So I was turning 9. I was 18 and
Oh
9.
my God,
Mum and Dad had only
9.
just broken up. Like, Dad was just moving into Nuffield at the same time that you were having the baby. Or Dad just moved out because you were moving in to have the baby.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I remember
yeah.
us all being there because Dad was staying there, Nan was there, Auntie was there, you were there. Which is how
All
we've
that.
always lived. We've always lived communally. And
Communally.
I don't know, I seriously don't think I could live any other way. I don't think I
Oh,
could
I
live in just
can.
a house with me
I
and
could.
Bruce. No.
Oh, yeah, I could. Not
I
with
get so
Bruce, but I
lonely.
could with a
But I realize
significant other.
but I think that's why I think I have this like dependency there because I'm so used to being around people all the time that I don't know how to be alone.
Yeah, I mean, you
But
probably do, but it's just more like how do you occupy yourself when you're alone?
no, I don't. So well, it's not really a problem for me. It might be a problem when we're like 50, 60 and our kids are all grown, but statistics says at least one of them, especially in my family, at least one or two of them will be still at home with me, so it's fine. I'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, we know how it goes.
Mm.
They'll still be at home. Yes, same. I love alone time. I've taken up a lot of hobbies. Yeah, sort of. Me too. Me too. Actually,
Mm.
weirdly enough, my time is fairly occupied with stuff, whether spiritual and or just like things I like to do around the house. Um, yeah. What is that? Cleaning. My brain's going blah. I actually am quite artistic. I draw things. I used to actually do graphic art, but I just got spiritual, got super spiritual, and it's sort of like that's what I was saying before that I wanted to start showcasing all the other sides of me because I was quite artistic, but since becoming spiritual, all of that kind of got shut down, and so yeah, if you see heaps of different types of videos from me, that's because it's like I'm now allowing those the older skill sets that I used to have to actually come forward, like drawing and painting, and I actually left all my paintings behind in the shed. I forgot. They were all nailed up to the shed walls, but never mind.
Oh, and you just left
The
them
new
there.
ones. Yeah, they were all
Mm.
nailed up, so I didn't want to. I just left them there. They'll probably just rip them down, but it doesn't matter. But I brought all the main ones.
Yeah. Well, it's time to start
Yeah,
some new
rebellious age.
ones.
Yeah, well, Natasha's right though. At that, like if you go back to the 90s, which was like my heyday, 90s and the 2000s, you could do so much crap and no one would even know because we didn't have social media.
No.
Oh, we kind of
Social
did
media
have like
started.
MySpace and
Yeah,
chat
but social
social
media started
rooms.
when I was in high school. That's when it like started,
Oh,
but it wasn't like it is
social
now.
media. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they still had like Yahoo chat rooms and things. Like I used to talk to all sorts of people. It was just something that was easy for me to do, talk to people
Mm.
online.
Oh,
Even back in when
easy.
I was a teenager. But that's when we had dial up and you had to wait for the
Yeah.
connection.
And
Well, it
then
took
someone would ring and it just
24
shut
hours
off.
to download a song or a movie. It took like
I
3 days.
remember I remember I was wanting to download it was the Adia song. It
Yeah.
took a week.
A week.
It took a whole week.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like
I think we
a
all downloaded
US
it.
song, It took a week on
Thank you
LimeWire.
guys.
And the internet cut out every time someone would ring.
Oh, thank you, Sims Nata.
These
Thank you
kids
for
have
coming.
no idea. They have no idea how easy they have it.
Yeah, they
But
could.
also they have it harder because social media is a real thing.
Do you
It
want to
wasn't a
come in?
real thing.
Oh,
Well,
Nuffield. Yeah, do you remember the old Nuffield place, Sarah? I don't know
it's
if you
literally
went there for
across the
touch
road
and
from where
that.
Sonia lived now. She
Before.
It was 132 and Sonia was living at 123.
Thank you, Hope. Thank you for coming in.
Oh, I'm glad this uplifted you. I know I'm not very spiritual and I am younger. I can't say I'm young anymore
It's all right.
because my
Sometimes
my
it's good to have
car
different points of view.
turned to me and she's like, "You're turning 30." And I was like, "Yeah." She goes, "You're getting so old." I was like, "Oh, shut up! Don't ever call me old again. Wait till you're
Well,
30 and your kids are calling you old."
I remember 30 I remember thinking 30 was like as old as it gets. And now I'm in my 40s and I'm like, oh my God. I'm literally, I remember saying when I was like 13 or 14, if I turn 40, I hope I die. Because they're so old.
Oh, that's so funny. I know
And
that's
I'm going to
terrible
be
to laugh at.
44
That's funny.
this year. And I hope I live.
Wow, I was very specific. At
Oh, yeah,
25,
November.
and my 25th or just before my 25th birthday, before I turned 25, I decided before I turn 30, I am going to get married and have another baby. And I did, I did. I met Bruce not too long after that, and like literally, probably like 3 weeks after I decided that this is what I was going to do. I met him like 3 weeks after. We started dating
Sorry.
each other like on my birthday. Like, that was when we
Mm.
became like official because I wanted something a bit more relaxed, but he didn't. So on my birthday, we became like a solid couple. That's why our anniversary is on my birthday. And within that 5 years, obviously I got married and I got two kids. Two more kids, sorry. I was
Yeah,
very
I didn't want to
specific.
have
I
a
told him,
relationship. Oh, no. I wanted to live my life. And so I stayed home. I don't think I wanted a relationship ever. I think that's why I've stayed so single for these years. I actually like being single. But yeah,
I was happy
but it's
single, but
different for me now. Things are changing for
mm,
me and how I view relationships too. So
mm,
I'm just sort of like not so much trying to manifest the relationship that I want, which I know I can get. It's more just like allowing the time and space for it to happen.
yeah.
So that
Yeah,
part
well,
I'm not worried about. It'll happen when it's ready.
I decided to be very specific in what I want
Mm.
because I realized if I was a little too vague, mm-hmm, mm-mm, can't leave space for error.
Yeah, I just relinquished control and let the
Oh,
universe
that's
design it
because
for me.
but I'm a control freak, so
I
that's why I
was a
decided.
control freak. That's why I
Yeah.
was freaking miserable because I tried to control everything, but in the end, it was always disappointment. So I just stopped. But that was my lesson to learn. Oh, 60. Oh, no, not 60.
Oh, 60's still kicking young, mate. See my
Yeah,
dad.
60's the new 50. 60's the new 50.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Especially since they moved the pension out to 65.
Yeah. Well, look at
You
my mum.
can't.
God, you wouldn't even realize that she is actually, she's 60, and I'm 43, she's 63. She moves like she's 30.
Yeah,
Man, she goes hard. I'm proud of my mum. If when it comes to when she wants to do things, she can just literally do
yeah,
anything.
dude. And
Like
do you
faster
know
than me.
what
I'm like
amazes
the
me?
turtle, and she's like the hare. I'm like at
Yeah.
the back rolling along,
She's
and
also
she's
a very little
look at
lady.
Ellen. She's only tiny. My mum's very
Yeah.
tiny. Well,
Which
not
is so
small,
funny
smaller
because you
than
guys
me.
are so tall.
Yeah.
Like
Well, that's because
so
we look like
tall.
our dads. So me and my brother have a different dad.
But it
But
looks
his
like your
dad
mother
was
had a
a big,
type.
tall man, and so was mine. Was a big, tall man. But the only thing we have in common is our bellies. We
Both
look different. We look
very
like our
tall.
dads, weirdly enough.
Yeah.
Um, but I like one cool thing my mum did for me was that even though me and my brother were not full, we were halves. She always made sure that we knew that we were brother and sister. Like there was no
Yeah.
separation between us. We were brother and sister, and that was it. So even though as we both sort of venture into learning about our separate families, or like his dad's family and my dad's family, we still meet in the middle and have that sort of. We actually have a really good relationship now. And Ashley, well, we grew up with Ashley. She was the baby, and we lived
Yeah.
with our uncle because my mum came out of her relationship, and we needed to stay with uncle because it was safe. And that's when Ashley was
Yeah.
born. Actually, we
So
were
I
with
don't.
uncle before you were born.
Yeah, I don't remember a life without Sonia.
I was 13 when she
She
was
was so.
born.
I'll be
I
honest.
was
She
your
was so
babysitter.
cool. I always thought she was so cool. Do you
Yeah,
know
she
what?
was
I still
lovely.
remember, and this is fucking bad, but I still remember I was in your
Uh-oh.
room. I must have been like 5 or 6, and there was a drink, and I drank it. It had fucking ants in it. There was
Like an
ants. It was a
alcohol drink?
bottle. No, no, no. It was
Oh,
like a Powerade bottle,
okay.
and I drank it, and there was ants in it.
Yuck. Was
Yeah.
probably there for
No,
I don't
probably not.
remember being
And you were like,
13.
oh, and I was like, there's ants in my mouth.
I think I remember that.
It's from, I must have been like 6, 5, 5,
Yeah, you were
5
only
or 6.
little.
Yeah, I don't even think
Um,
Roman was born, maybe. But I remember because you were in this room.
yeah, thanks, Sarah.
Yeah. And I was sitting on the windowsill, and you said, don't
Oh,
touch that. And I was like, look, it's a drink. And I drank it. And then I
yeah,
put it
because I
down and
heard
realized
it.
there was ants in it.
That's when I was on night shift. I was working the night shift then.
Yeah.
Was I? Yeah.
But I
I was
always
working the
thought
night shift.
Sonia was so cool.
I was cool. I
Yeah.
was actually pretty cool at that age, but then I was also had a lot of money because I was working hard. It was only when I got into my relationship with the kids' dad,
Yeah, but
everything.
even then, I thought you were so cool, like my whole
Oh, it
life.
was because you were lovely. Like I remember painting your face, the moon
When we played
face.
that game,
Yeah, with Halloween and Tinks.
yeah, we had to wipe
Yeah.
it off.
What was
But
that?
actually, I I had to disappear because I was sick because I had full on diarrhea. I still
Oh,
wanted to
yeah.
play.
I remember that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Yeah. That was right. I remember that. That was way back in the day.
But I really wanted to
Oh,
play.
everybody's old now.
Yeah. We
It's freaky
played
how
this
much you
game.
remember because a lot of mine I can't remember a
The
lot
whole,
of my stuff.
yeah. The whole point of the game was everybody painted their whole face purple. And everyone got a wet cloth, and some water, and you had to like get the
Yeah.
paint off. But while
The
trying to
person with the
play,
least
I
amount of
also
paint
yeah.
was the loser.
While trying to play, I also had severe diarrhea.
Yeah, I remember that too.
But
We
just
just
didn't
made that
stop
game
me.
up. But it
Didn't
was
stop me.
entertaining.
Yeah, it
It
was so
entertained
cool.
you guys.
I loved it.
I used to do games like that with the boys because they were so active back then. Those are my stepsons. And they were so active back then and they liked to do things like that.
Yeah. And we're the same age. So one is
Yeah,
on one is yeah, I'm like 6 months older than me and 6 months younger than me.
yeah, because they were a year apart. Yeah. Yeah. Those were the good days, but things were still shite then in my relationship. But there were good moments in the middle, in between. But yeah,
She was always so cool. She straightened my hair for the first time with a hair straightener.
touch your eyebrows.
After me and my stepsister straightening each other's hair with a literal iron, and I burnt her arm.
The
and
18.
then and then I was telling Sonia, and she goes, "I've got a hair straightener here. I'll straighten your hair." And I thought I was the bee's knees. I really did. I thought I was beautiful. I was like, "Look at my hair."
Yeah. That's because you're always with were you with your dad then? But then we were like tomboy girls, eh? We were kind of like
Yeah.
tomboy girls.
Yeah,
So
well,
it
my
was,
dad only
like
shopped for
that
me in
kind
the
of stuff was,
men's section.
because it was easiest for him. Yeah.
The only person who got me girly clothes, funnily enough, was your mum. It was just funny because she dresses like a boy.
I was like, she only got
Which
us
she
boys'
used
clothes.
to.
Actually, she never got me clothes. You know who got me my clothes? Nan.
Nan.
Because mum
Yeah.
never liked to go shopping, funny enough. Yeah.
Oh, she loves
Funny
the
enough.
old today.
Yeah. I'm actually tired.
Because it's like 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I might go, guys.
I was almost falling
Sorry.
asleep before.
Yes, I feel like I'm waffling on now.
Yeah.
But
We're
I'm
just
like,
talking
it's
short.
starting to get past my bedtime.
It is
I didn't
hella
get
late.
tired. It's for lasting this long. But yeah, body count next time. I know we sort of wanted to come in, but next time on a Sunday, just let me know straight away if you want to join the live and come and chat with us. That'll be cool. Or anybody else that'd like to come in and
Yeah.
have a chat. We'll do it for next Sunday. We weren't very prepared
No.
this Sunday, sorry. But we'll just pull everyone in and we'll just talk.
So I only
About spiritual
originally
things, but
came in
all
to read
about anything.
questions. I only came in to
Yeah.
read questions because Sonia misses most of them. But then I started just talking. I like talking.
Yeah, we like, yes. Ain't nothing wrong with that. We're in a chat. So, so next Sunday, if you want to come in and have a chat or be part of the discussion, we can talk about anything spirituality, relationships, astrology, whatever you guys like, and just give a nice point of view as long as you're kind and respectful to everybody. That's pretty good with me. And thank you for staying as long as you did for all the stays. I appreciate you. Thank you very much for the likes, shares, comments, and
If you
follows.
want a
And I
reading,
will see
come
you
in on
guys on
Tuesday.
Tuesday. Tuesday for the
Tuesday for
readings.
Tuesday.
7 o'clock.
And if
Put
you
your name
want to
down
go
as soon as the
live,
list opens.
if you do want to go live, just be aware you have to have had at least 500 followers. And if you've had 500 followers, you have to like follow certain things that you've got to do, like go live for an hour and things like that.
Yeah.
If you don't, you have to wait till you have like at least 1,000 followers. Okay?
Yeah. It was 1,000 for me.
Yeah, well, it's because I did that thing. So you have to like be posting regularly and have 500 followers and go live for an hour and have interaction in your life. You can't just go live for an hour and have nothing.
Yeah.
So
Like people chatting stuff. Okay, that's cool. Yeah,
just
if you want to come
anything.
in. Yeah. Thanks, Ash. I appreciate that.
No problem.
But yeah, have
I
a good
just
night,
say
guys.
any like disappointment.
Yeah, just if you want to join the live, make sure you can actually come live with us.
If you can go live on your own page, then you can join the live. So check that out.
And then just let us know at the beginning and we'll pull you in. So thank you very much, guys. That was awesome. And until next time, poor Marie, good night.
Poor Marie.
Night, Ash. Thank you,
Good
Ash.
night.